Semalam kamu upload sampai tinggal aku dengan dia woi, buatnya aku duk sedihnya aku rasa.
Woi, gila so.
Siapa?
Patutnya kau patutnya kau bunuh diri so.
Aku satu game je aku tu sobat aku melakukan tu lah.
Patut gantung diri je masih.
Woi, kau patut ni so. Bunuh diri so. Tak boleh tu.
Aku langsung mundur doh. Mula-mula TP off, aku ghost lah dulu.
Ni obok yang depan off dengan Divo tu kan?
Bab nyamuk men. Bab semut men. Acu, thank you Acu. Aiso, apa kabar Mahir?
Lama tak silap. Semalam baru saya stream.
Sabarlah guys.
Jangan saya setting sikit.
Dah kalau dalam game jabot. Apa? Tak kalau
Mana Lexia ada jadi satu sini.
Dalam game apa?
Si Lexia dia busy kursus kawin.
Tak ada cerita lah.
Mendak gila.
Hai, macam mana?
Bongok tak malah doh. Ya.
Gila bot, bukan tak nak pakai ni ke bot?
Ya kan terai lah di luar juga.
Kepala
Bot,
hutang.
kau dah jatuh pangkat bot, serius lah kau. Ih, jelek lu kau.
Weh, semalam kalau aku semalam bersemut apa semuanya bot, kalau tak jadi bot aku dah tahu lah bot. Geram aku dok.
Tapi boleh nampak gila bot. Si Divo murmukan kau. Betul bot, gila boleh nampak gila si Divo dengan Sigeri. Dia main dengan Sigeri munyung ya.
Itu lah, nampak betul loh bot.
Sekali main sama kau, Nox.
Mana boleh bot.
Senyuman dia tu sampai ke mata men.
Sampai ke mana? Lagi senyuman begitu men.
Siapa jungler? Solos guys.
Thank you Muhammad Karim.
Gila
Ya apa salah aku kata Obot Divo dia ambil salah dia ambil aduh Wina.
Obot ganti Lexia ke so ya, dia ganti si Lexia men.
Tanya apa salahnya sama Obot? Kenapa kau ambil si Divo tu?
Kenapa ya?
Teruknya.
Kenapa Muhammad Karim? Thank you.
Apa ya timu Kiki?
Aku bawa apa bot? Bau minyak ni.
Wih, nasi Kiki gila loh si Kiki.
Rupanya si Kiki dirampas men.
Mana dengan siapa? Okey, tournament ni ada saya, Sofian, Tia, Ciku dan yang terakhir sekali korang mesti tahu punya. Kalau saya sebut the power off lah korang tahu siapa orangnya.
Ciku masalah ya. Thank you Cun. Oh ya dah.
Kenapa kau malu bot?
Gulak so kasih apa ni? Kasih telur game.
Ai, takkanlah kawan-kawan bot. Sampai kau nak kumpul duit bagai 100,000 nak. Lala kena jadi bro je. Oi, kau kumpul 100,000 dia kan dapat level. Bro je bot.
Kalau jadi main dia Kemon lah. Aduh masa jadi main.
Okey bot untuk tournament kali ni bot. Kasih tunjuk sikit the power of love. Tapi contoh buat
Bagi diorang tunggu.
tiba-tiba kita sampai final. Lawan tim awet kau macam mana?
Omega tarik diri men, langgar jadual diorang men.
Adakah kau akan throw game?
Kita kena menang ni ya.
Surrender je bot. Mak
Dendam dok, Obot mau dendam dok.
Dia mau bantu Sigeri dok.
Dia mau bantu si Gary dok.
Cukup mau Sigeri dia bilang.
Dia mau bantu si Gary dok, dia mesti Gary.
Lesia mana Lesia? Tak main kan? Obok ganti.
Aku ganti.
Memang tak boleh
Main
pakai
Ciku problem tu, iya dok.
Sigeri ni aku buat ni.
Abang Syarul bila nak upload video kat YT. Okey Syamizi besok
Tangan perangai kan, macam dalam TV kan
Dia lawan Gary dia.
Lelaki.
Kenapa Omega tarik diri?
Macam mana boleh?
Biasalah guys. Bila Smart Omega nampak nama Obot dalam line up ganti Lizia kan, tarik diri. Ini Obot yang the power of love tu kan? Tarik diri luar. Macam tu.
Omega pun tarik diri apa?
Tarik diri Smart Omega. Zu tengok nama ni Obot yang baru-baru ni famous pasal cinta ni.
Ya dok, cinta dalam game lah bilang.
Kenapa tarik diri dok? Dia mau bagi si Obot berjumpa si tim Sidibo men.
Terima kasih.
Omega respect dok. Dia mau si Obot jumpa.
Lawan tim mana lah? Batak Gaming.
Ini tengah tunggu lah ni. Sabar bang, sabar. Bantu
Dia
tap
respect,
dulu,
Bang,
tap
men.
100k baru kita.
Kenapa Lizia tak main? Lizia ni guys ada urusan lain guys. So Obot ganti.
Tengah tunggu orang invite.
Kan aku lah someone.
Boleh jadi apa?
Tahu lah bila nak faktor ni nampak lain lah. So ya nampak kacau. Ya.
Omega respect habis tu.
Respect apa lo?
Respect
Dah
oh.
respect doh, dah respect doh, dah respect percintaannya si Obot doh.
Ah.
Kisah cinta seorang Obot men.
Okey, okey, siap.
Perlu karit ya.
Diorang support konten men. Mau dibuat wayang nanti doh.
Boleh lah.
Kita tahu okey.
Lawan jam berapa? Saya rasa pukul 6 kot lagi 5 minit kot nanti di-invite masuk lobby.
Kau good Omega tu.
Mana kucingmu? Ada di luar.
Bin boy, boleh lah Bin. Boleh. Demi kau terlalu. Terlalu betul.
Ini apa ni? Ren cakap apa ni?
Iya, Pak.
Main lari kepala otak lah, nanti kena marah lagi aku.
Satu ketua welcome guys ya.
Ringan. Tekan-tekan lah. Lama kali tekan-tekan lu.
Macam mana nak jadi pro player? Kamu kena tanya si Ciku men. Si Ciku tahu selok-belok jadi pro player.
Facecam memang tak ada ke? Tak ada kan? Nanti facecam buka dekat Discord.
Macam mana perjalanan untuk
Eh,
jadi seorang pro
nanti
player?
buka facecam kat Discord kan?
Ada step-stepnya kah?
Okey,
Step-stepnya,
okey.
men.
Sekarang kah?
9,000.
Apa?
Dia suruh
Buka
pilih
facecam.
kat Discord. Boleh.
Macam mana tak dengar Ciku?
Boleh pilih salah satu.
Oh dekat stream kita pun boleh
Boleh. Tapi dekat live official tak ada muka
Pakai
kita.
tiket lagi lah. Sudah.
Oh, aku rasa lagi terbaik buat kat kita punya stream je kan?
Budak kampung Tabana.
Oh, yang hari tu aku buat dekat.
Kasih banyak-banyak budak kampung. Semoga dia mereka rezeki.
Oh iya.
Berarti
Tapi kan ada interview nanti loh. Aku tahu trade itu hari tak boleh aku bakar aku men.
Aku rasa interview nanti si Obot lah Bot.
Ya Obot. Sebab si Obot mau jumpa si anu doh si
Ah.
Poskol jangan thank you.
Kau cakap lah bos, kau nak menang, kau nak bantai.
Kau
ni.
Kau nak cari
Kau cari
Gary.
Gary.
Mana Kristo?
Sebab Gary mencuba untuk kacau the power of love.
Oh ini kah?
Kenapa lo saya? Aku tak begitu nak apa
Pakai sini kah?
Kau cakap sini lah. Gary kau banyak kacau itu. Boleh Bot.
Yang marah satu orang dia si Gary je yang marah.
Sini boleh pakai kan?
So kau di facecam dekat mana? Dekat Discord ke stream kau?
Aku dah stream doh. Aku tak boleh dekat Discord loh. Smart.
Oh.
Aku terus story bakal komen.
Oh alah sebab ya berjadi lah. Waalaikumsalam yang beri salam. Ali Johanim selamat petang. Kenapa Omega tarik diri? Sebab dia nampak nama Obot. Diorang respect Bot.
Udah mau 200.
Teman ni orang tarik diri apa tu?
Itu adalah. Boleh lah
Let's go.
Oh, Mak Adi cakap kau dah sistem. Ya doh, aku dah sistem doh. Ya betul.
Baru ada 100 sudah tadi.
Ha?
Letakkan jalan sampai dapat.
Betul bot.
Ya guys, welcome dok. Rupanya Grow up challenge dok.
Syah.
Dah dapat.
Amin. Terima kasih Syah. Ubud jago. Someone. Terima kasih Jam 6.
Keluar baik someone. Mantap jiwa men.
Dia pergi kursus kawin kali guys. Tak tahu aku.
Lukat lah pihak. Lukat.
Dia tak mau ada hal ni
Gila. Terima kasih.
Kenapa bukan si Puat yang join? Si Puat kan pergi haji.
Gila. Buka facecam kat mana? Saya tak sure lagi lah.
Balik ke dia sudah balik si Puat. Aku
Buka
Apa cuba ya doakan
dekat
Belah kiri tu.
Discord atau stream saya.
menambah demi
Antara salah satu lah.
Oh, demi ini kan.
Facecam saya dekat tempat lain. Jemok.
Kenapa si Kiki enggak ada so? Si Kiki ada urusan men.
Ganti obot guys.
Kiki ada urusan dia jadi si Obot ganti.
Ya sir.
Baru kita klaim dulu.
Bot kau buka lah. Ni bot facecam tiga apa?
Menunggu ni guys.
Kau buka facecam dekat Discord ke OBS?
OBS tu apa sih? Dia bagi banyak begini.
Singkara thank you Singkara.
Oh.
Terima kasih guys.
Anak baik ni bila abang mau di-invite ni tim kita standby awal check-in awal lambat pula di-invite-nya.
Macam mana?
Hai, dia suruh ready awal berdiri tadi.
Sambil kita tunggu sambil kamu tap like
Hai.
dulu.
Pergi. Kita tekan dulu ah, tekan dulu.
Main di marah-marah aku sampai ya bang. Ya bang apa bang. Begitu.
Tidak 3,000
Aku sudah standby awal ni.
Jangan dulu guys, please lah. Jangan
Please lah guys.
Please tu.
Please do.
Lawan apa lagi? Lawan Batak Gaming.
Bukan zaman kuning. Zaman cukup kan? Macam tak cukup je.
Kau dah pernah jadi kan?
Penuh dengan
Belum dah tadi men.
Aku belum men. Aku baru buka kan.
Aku komen tak boleh.
Apalah aku pernah jari dekat.
Panas jari main P ni loh. Panas jari kau di turnamen nanti main P ni men.
Ni je aku ketuk grip jap. Kau pernah jari. Baca grip.
ikan bulu.
Dia suruh ready awas sebab tak nak kena dengan soldier semalam. Betul, saya rasa betul.
Iyalah duk betul juga kan.
Woi, aku standby kau tahu ke aku standby jam berapa ni?
Habis. Waalaikumsalam.
Gara-gara kena marah tu hari kan aku standby awal ni tak mampu.
Salam dari Selangor.
Kita tengok dari jam 5 tu aku tunjuk dari jam
Jaga saya pernah jari ya. Baca grip jap. Nak baca orang tak dapat. Baca grip lah.
Thank you Ina. Sudah Sofia. Kenapa
Baca grip. Baca
Obot
tetel.
ganti Lexia. Lexia dah urusan men. Tu dah disiplin. Aku disiplin sudah ni men. Kau tak nampak ke aku ni umpama macam kalau pergi kerja kan? Kalau pergi kerja masuk jam 7, jam 8. Kalau masuk jam 8 lah contoh lah bagi masuk jam 8 lah masuk kerja jam 8. Kalau aku di office kerja.
Sudah.
Let's go, semangat dong.
Oh.
Jam check-innya dong.
Cukup.
SK buka kat mana? Saya tak tahu lagi lah.
Aku di street sudah.
Mana habis?
Sudah ni.
Diorang kata 5 minit lagi dah.
Oh 5 minit.
Camat dah buat sini dong.
Dekat live official ni.
Ada 10 ni.
3 minit lagi. Okey. 3 minit lagi men. 3 minit lagi men.
1.6k nak.
Kita adalah
Hal-hal orang
tekan lagi.
Pagi.
Live spectator kat titik mana? Dekat Mobile Legend Malaysia guys. Terima kasih Mirul.
Aidi kamu.
Dunia ini dengan kejutan.
Jangan malu-malu, come on.
Ya malu-malu bos.
10.
Tak malu-malu.
Good night game nanti. Salam dari Sulawesi.
Malu bos.
Oh ni telaga. Daripada Korea. Serius ah?
Dekat Malaysia kan.
di mana dah bukan tapi terpaksa disiplin. Alah.
Ya dah lah tu.
Biasalah kita kan sebagai manusia sering melakukan kesilapan.
Jemo. Tak tahu lagi lah Jemo.
Obot ada buff kan sudah. Oi, Obot dia tengah mau
Ya, saya tengok dorang kamera macam mana.
Jangan risau Bot. Aku support kau Bot. Don't worry Bot. Aku
Thank you Kai.
kita kan
Weh dia invite dah.
Aku tak nampak pihak kecil.
Dia sudah invite.
Thank you Kai. Semoga terima rezeki Kai.
Dia sudah imbat lah guys. Nantilah.
Jangan blunder. Okey dah cuba dok.
Batak Gaming.
Batak Gaming siapa Batak Gaming Tim apa Batak Gaming
Di Indo pun.
Maju kau.
Yalah namanya juga Batak Gaming kan mestilah tim Indo kan.
Betul.
Amin Batak.
Macam mana pihak?
Jangan jadi mak di.
Itulah.
Ready.
Lawan Omega kah? Omega tarik diri men. Agar jadwal.
98.
Aku ready dok. Aku ready guys.
Kosong.
Okey ready.
2025.
Batak Gaming siapa tu? Tim Indonesia. Tim Indo.
TikTok tu. Oh, kita orang penjoget.
Mana Lizia? Lizia tak ada ke? Lizia apa ni? Ganti Obot.
Let's go.
Official kat mana? Official kat mana?
Okay,
Terima
don't
kasih ID. Bantu.
Official dekat Mobile Legends MY dekat TikTok men.
Bantu guys.
Yes. Aku awal ni.
Kenapa Obot main?
Salah tu Bi.
Bila Obot main kan Smart Omega terus tarik diri tau. Punya kuat aura si Obot ni.
Azira terima kasih.
Smart Omega nak tengok dekat live kan. Ini Obot yang budak power of love tu kan. Tarik diri tu lah. Kat situ lah.
Hai, terima kasih. Pilih.
Hello?
Jangan main rank ya.
Ya. Dalam room semua.
Jam 5 lagi dalam standby sudah dekat lobby. Ya.
Syamil, thank you
Awal sudah
Syamil.
bang. Masuk awal sudah aku bang.
Betul lah bang.
Guys, ada yang bisa ini enggak? Apa? Konten di sini.
Aduh, aku tidak bisa aku bang. Aku punya kamera bug bang.
Sekarang teribu ya.
Siapa yang bisa weh? Siapa yang boleh weh?
So jangan main ring so.
Mana? Aku tak nampak aku sudah ready nih. Aku dari tadi ready nih.
Aku nggak bisa nih.
Aku dari semalam ready nih bang, betul bang. Aku dari semalam stay di lobby sudah bang.
Apa ya?
Oh, upload ada ke? Ada ke?
Dia akan naik otomatis di sini. Dia akan naik otomatis di sini.
Oh, upload ada ke?
Ini otomatis dia naik sini bang.
Lex dia pakai online Lex dia. Tahu lah Lex dia di tengah ada urusan
Tujuh
men. Di tengah ada
dari
urusan.
Cross.
Nih.
Ayo yang bisa game
Kan ada satu orang doh yang boleh game.
Satu orang 1.000. Iya dong.
satu. Kalau tak dua lah, 2 orang.
Ya, at least 2 orang men. Tolong men. 1 orang men.
Biar live guys. So,
Kenapa? Kenapa?
Siapa bukan nih? Aku kan dok. Aku korban dok.
Game dok.
Boleh lah bot. Aku tak boleh bot. Aku cuma bot. Bakar
Ada
aku bot.
face cam laku dekat sini guys. Aku coba lah. Aku ada cam.
Relock koi, relock sumpah.
Aku sudah coba dok. Tapi tak boleh aku main semalam aku sudah try.
Korban lah dok untuk kamu dok.
Mana ada relock bang?
Mana bata gaming so sengaja kami masuk awal men supaya nampak macam mana disiplin. Supaya nampak disiplin.
Ada kamu muka aku bang? Oh dah jeleknya bang muka aku bang. Macam semak sangat aku punya rumah ini bang. Sumpah. Ini kamu orang lain lah.
Boy bot, janganlah begini bot.
Oh dah.
Teruk ni
Nampak dia dok. Aku mata di belakang dok.
Kau anu sialah babot. Kes turun jalan green screen kalau anu bot. Kalau teruk tengok.
Masalahnya.
Aku tak boleh dok.
Cuma no bot men.
Kamu lah dok.
Aku tak boleh.
Tengok mukamu bot. Tengok mukamu bot.
Aku tengok muka aku buat apa dok?
Tengoklah kau cakap jelek. Apa yang jelek?
Tengok muka kau boy.
Sabar. Semak ya sabar.
Tu aja,
Ubat
tu
tidak. Ubatku.
Dalam banyak-banyak streamer ni streamer paling kambing ni.
Sorok lah ubat tu boy. Sorok.
Mana ada orang top up
Siapa
diamond
pengadil?
kena relock.
Ada nih pengadilnya nih.
Mat, kontak
Orang anu lah. Apa namanya tu pengadil lah bang. Si Gary juga namanya. Alah bot. Gary juga namanya bot.
Kenapa sama Alexia? Alexia tengah ambil kursus kami bang. Oh ganti dia.
Pengadilnya pun nama Gary do. Ya Allah.
Kenapa katilku gila?
10 dari Mansawi. Pomo drafter 1 stone mage ni.
Kenapa ketirmu buat kau naik lah green screen tu. Green screen kasih naik jalah.
Iya, sini aja lah green screen.
Nih base camp ni tambah besar gila dia punya range dok.
Masih kecil lah.
Kecil lah bangsat.
Macam mana masih kecil aku tak tahu gila dok.
Oh ni
Kau bukan budak air, budak
IT
kamu.
Bukan pasal budak IT, budak IT penting kau tak boleh ke setting. Gila.
Kan budak IT, kenapa tak ganti ombong? Kepala batu relock lah. Kamu ni kenapa juga kamu ni?
Okey kan begini.
Isya kami ke tidak main guys. Wih Onik.
Kenapa juga kamu?
Kita lawan Onik.
Okey lah bot.
Nak kan ada bang.
Okey lah.
Dia otomatis bang.
Kau semua okey so.
Okey.
Okey lah. Okey.
Ini okey ke? Tak tahu lah guys. Biasa saya main hero tekan-tekan je.
Serius okey doh.
Kalau hero yang saya takut delay.
Ngam lah tu macam stano streamer punya ni standard lah betul.
Kawan, dia kasi main-main.
Okey.
Tetap dia relock. Bang, betul lah.
Letak camp macam dorang juga. Dorang letak macam mana?
Kaya.
Dorang letak macam mana? Saya tengok.
Aku interview terus dok. Ya.
Tadi kan tak apa. Aku buka tengok mukanya.
TV terus bang.
Okey siap. Siap dulu.
Mana ada dorang letak kamera? Dorang letak kamera ada lah. Showboard.
Aku terfollow doh. Apa dia?
Aku buka kamera ni gila dok. Tengok buka kamera ni.
Oi, siapa yang follow Onik oh?
Ndak, aku mau tengok siapa dia.
Itu tak ada guna kau buka kamera dok.
Ini siapa ya? Aku nak tahu lah siapa ni.
Mirul! Mana boleh ke? Dia kan GDK.
Dia ambil muka kau dia letak kat live official.
Banyak
Betul gila pok. Apa tak percaya?
Betul gila bot. Untuk kasta tengok nanti
Cloud.
Okey lah aku cuba lah dok. Tapi tidak buka aku lah guys.
Global group je dia.
Basecamp aku tak ada guys.
Siapa global group? Macam mana kamu cek men?
Wira kegemaran men. Onik Wik tu Wik. Oh si Onik Wik tu.
Jemo!
7 dari Jimo.
Ini pula
Los, kirim salam dekat semua los.
Oi, Jemo kirim salam oh. Jemo kirim salam.
Kita lawan ni.
Salam.
Baik lo Jemo, thank you lo Jemo. Susah je Jemo.
Oh, Grok juga. On the way tu.
Bro, tu banyak user.
Aku rasa lagu ni kuat sangat ni. Kalau aku
Ini
ni.
banyak main Claude, banyak
Oh,
main
3 real lo. Wah, gila
Mana
apa
yang bagi
dong
gift?
ni?
Terima kasih guys, bagi guys.
Kamu tengah stok orang ke, Dok? Stok
Dapat
orang.
dapat lagunya.
Ya, Dok.
Nak
Sekarang
SMS
kamu
lagu.
tengok dorang main apa nih? Wih, magic lagi ni satu.
Apa ni?
Parsa, wifi, Kagura tuh.
Oh ni.
Lagi 1,000 terus guys. Guys.
Ini lagi, jago
Ini
juga
masuk,
tuh
sabar,
semuanya,
Dok.
Bapa.
Mana lagu yang lepas punya yang bunyi chip tu?
Terima kasih.
Thank you Mama Citra. Tak bayar Mama Citra untuk membership
Aku nak mau tekan lah.
Aku
Satu orang
stalk, aku
Mana satu orang 1,000? Tak, nipu.
Sudah full Jo, sudah full Jo.
Puy.
Sudah full eh.
Wah, gilanya
Ya ke, full ke?
Ini user lagi, Dok.
Tuh, dah ready.
Wah, gilanya.
Lawa-lawa diorang punya border tau. Border Stardom oh.
Stardom. Macam
Ada
mana
kembar lah, ada ke?
Wah, jago-jago semua ya, jago-jago semuanya, men.
Apa ni gila semuanya?
Marco Cok. Mana Marco Cok guys?
Keras dia tu lawannya, ya, keras, Dok, keras, Dok.
Gila.
Ah semua Global Tigreal.
Ya, Dok.
Kau tengok dok, dorang dua tu ke global
Mana
tigreal.
nama Marco Cok guys? Mana nama Marco Cok?
Oke, boleh, Bot. Siap.
Jago-jago lawannya, Dok. Win rate tinggi semuanya, Dok, Bapak.
Woi.
Jago sangat ke, Dok? Jago sangat.
Jago sangat, Dok.
Pin lah pia. Nak mau lah aku. Tegar
Tegar Warkop tu Global Tigreal. Oh ya ke?
Stand by ya. Aku coba buka open question tu.
Oh dia tu Global Tigreal lo. Tegar Warkop.
Aku udah open.
Gigi si ombong ni.
Sadom tu
Siapa
dua-dua ni.
jangan di situ. Langsung open facecam di sini aja.
Di mana aja? Di mana?
Di mana bot?
Tak usah di apa? Tak usah di share screen. Langsung on cam aja.
Oh,
On cam aja bot.
Langsung on cam coba.
on cam ni.
Lihatin tu bot. Turn on camera tu.
Oh iya betul juga ya.
On kamera bot.
Mana kameraku? Ada ke kameraku? Ada ke bang?
Share kamera.
Kenapa kau punya anu tiba-tiba in-game mu, Bot? Bukan game Bot. Kamu, Bot.
Oh sabar mungkin.
Buka dulu bot.
Macam mana mau tukar tu? Oh, iya.
Bukan bot.
Ah. Weh bot, tu botol apa belakang tu bot?
100 dan
Botol
bola
air keluar.
Oi.
memudahkan segala urusan semoga
Boleh
menang
tak?
bos.
Aku sikat sikit bang. Dia
hilang dah.
air tu, Bang.
Hey,
Oh.
kita bakal
Salah, nanti dia ambil simpat salah. Bot.
Susah-susah je Hola. Take care Hola Hey Hola ni.
Obat kuat tu di belakang tu. Apa sakit
Okay.
kuat? Astaga.
Right, alright.
Buat dia walau.
Okay bot. Band apa bot?
Mana band apa ni, men?
Aku tahu lu suka tanya ke bin apa lu?
Kau bukan main power lagi dengan tu abang kau. Takkan sekarang tak band apa ni?
Ciko.
Someone.
Kita tak tahu. Hari tu lek Kiki yang ni bot. So Kiki tak ada.
Kau tak Kiki tak ada kau gantilah bot cepat bot. Band apa ni?
Aku tak tahu. Ben Aldos ke kalau si Marco Bot? Nah, aku
Okay.
tak tahu.
Kita first pick kan, orang first pick.
Kita first pick. Kita band dulu.
Kita first pick, kita band dulu, kita anu lah, ambil lah yang
Cepat
mana kita
abang kau
mampu.
ganti Rolizia kan?
Kita Ben Los macam biasa kita Ben.
Pastinya lah bagian tournament.
Roger,
Iya,
eh?
men.
Roger. Dengar Roger.
Wih, suruh band
Salah
lu.
pi bot. Salah bot, salah. Aduh bot.
Gila lu.
Ben ni, Dok. Kenapa kau ben ni, lo? Kau boleh main.
Nak dengar ke?
So, delay so. Bot, dia suruh band Tigreal bot. Roger tak abang, kita boleh ambil.
Kita Ben Tigreal.
Band Tigreal.
Oke, Ben Tigreal.
Banyak info ni, Dia kata Tigreal ni.
Oke, Ben Tigreal apa lagi? Ben apa lagi?
Dia nampak stream ku, Dok.
Okay. Aku dapat info ni bot. Diorang kata diorang ni untuk Global Tigreal. Lepas tu apa lagi
Apa lagi?
Jangan sabar tengah ambil info ni. Tengah ambil info.
Bila jalan pintas itu tidak ada.
Apa lagi mau di band? Digi.
Digi.
Aku pun tak tahu. Kau band lah.
Wih ini loh.
Pedrin ke?
Ben Lila gila kita.
Florin ke? Angela ke?
Angela.
Matilda ke? Ikutlah.
Matilda lah aku rasa, Dok. Real, Dok. Matilda rosak gila.
Teman apa ni? Kat mana tengok?
Matilda, serius ni Matilda.
Weh kenapa diorang band Johnson si Sopian?
Itulah. Orang tengok streamku gila.
Carlos. Ni apa?
Claude ada juga. Dorang main Claude. Mau band Claude kah? Mau band
Biasa lah, boy biasa lah. Cross apa
Biasa.
tu?
So,
aku band apa ni? Matilda kan?
Berhenti berjalan.
Mau band apa? Orang tak mau cerita.
Bot.
Yelas.
Okay, kita nak pick apa ni first pick ni. Sebab kau Liza tak ada, kau ganti captain.
Loh,
Ciku boleh ke Ciku?
Bot, boleh bot.
Boleh, jap.
Okey, kalau begitu kita
Macam mana kau nak macam mana kau nak titik Gary nanti kalau kau tak yakin?
kita ambil Roger.
Okey, cantik Captain. Macam tu lah ketua.
Ambil Roger.
dari sekadar
Weh, tak boleh
senjata.
kalau
Kenapa kau?
Ambil
Cacat pula kau ni.
Apa, link ke
Cacat
Roger?
pula kau ni.
Link kah?
Kita dengan cakap obot, kita dengan cakap
Okey, bot mana bot?
Jangan cakap aku no pressure.
Bot cepat bot, link ke Roger bot.
Kau captain lah bot. Ambil bot.
Roger dah.
Roger betul eh? Betul eh? Thank you Cukuruku. Terima kasih Cukuruku. Thank you Hafiz.
Kita tengok Euro dolang.
Okey, tengok.
Bot, kau mahu aku main apa bot?
Kenapa tak pick link tu? Captain kata Roger kan. Kita ikut captain.
Janganlah duk tanya aku lagi duk. Harit.
Bot apa aku bot?
Bot, percaya yakin bot.
Okey,
Upin. Malam live tak? InsyaAllah tengok dulu macam mana.
Aku juga bot.
Kalau Moskow tak boleh.
Semuanya ada dalam
Moskow.
Moskow. Okey. Alright.
Apa bot? Cepatlah mau.
Kau ada rasa kalau
10
begitu,
dari Wan.
Keluar
Los
sini
jangan
semua
sampai kena kiss oleh
Thank you Wan. Boleh.
Kejap. Nak mau main Angela ke ni?
Mak kau main je lah kah?
Jangan, aku goblok. Buat apa kau mau ambil Angela?
Habis.
Macam mana ni?
Kamu je lah.
Macam mana ni?
Macam mana ni Captain?
Captain, cepat.
Cici jalan dulu. So aku mau tak cici musuh.
Tapi aku dah tak tahu.
Aku mau tak cici.
Tak tahu bot, lama tak main tournament bot.
Dia mau tengok Ciku dok.
Guys, korang ni teruk tu guys.
Dia mau tengok Ciku dok, bapa.
Seberom.
Kau nak band apa bot?
Tolong guys, buka lagi.
Okey, kita main lah. Saya dorang ada fighter. Maximum tadi juga dok.
Diorang dah ada jungle dengan Golden.
Golden ke tu hari tulus.
Rasa hari tu nak pergi mana?
Bot boleh tahan tak? Itulah aku pun tak.
Ha.
Aku pun rasa boleh tahan jugalah dia punya drop dok.
Cepat bot, nak band apa ni?
Gimana kabarnya? So baik-baik aja bang.
terselesaikan.
Oh dia ambil kerbau dok bot. Macam mana ni
Oh
bot?
tiba tu kuat tu bot, macam mana ni bot?
Itulah pasal macam mana?
Drafter buntu.
Lagi tak tahu.
Kenapa ni guys? Sabar jangan kacau guys.
ahli waktu.
Namaku Digi.
Jangan orang main Angela support mid nanti dok. Kan?
Dok.
Sebab orang dah ada Harit.
Dia ada dok.
Aku main Angela.
Okay, obot kata dia ban je lah.
Okey, buat Angela
Satu lagi cikgu.
Tik.
Dari Kiko
Kita siap down dia punya.
bahaya Los obot
Dia punya mid
imposter
aku rasa
kalau
tu.
jumpa tim
Dia mid kau rasa.
Tapi kita nak kena ni nak kena menang ni Kick. Baru boleh jumpa.
Loi ke duk?
Oh, tak tahu lah bot ikut captain lah.
Loi ke Farah
10
bukan kau
dari Genji Melayu. Los kalau menang belanja semua
Meta-
makan.
Oi, boleh kalau menang kalau champion.
Captain Obot dok.
Orang satu terus guys, terus.
Aku rasa aku akan tetap ada.
Okey, apa dah Bentina ke?
Tapi mau band apa dulu? Band dulu. Fikir
Band dulu bot.
Dulu. Faramis kan?
Paramis boleh, Parsha boleh.
Faramis lah. Aku aktifkan kalau ambil Faramis tu. Oh.
Aku rasa Paramis sebab
Paramis betul lah. Kenapa aku pula yang band lagi ni? Bukan aku di
Kenapa
atas.
banyak orang komen Parsa nih?
Farsa ke? Serius Farsa tu.
Nah, orang. Kalau aku kan captain bot, bukan viewer.
Oh, bot.
Faramis.
Francis Jungle. Saya dah pick dah. Roger.
Hidup adalah untuk
Oh, viewer
menipu
cakap
sang
Parsa, Tisno
maut.
7 global Parsa dia.
Ya Allah, kenapa nak cakap orang
Oh, ya ke? Kenapa tak bagi tahu awal? Lambat.
Mana aku tahu bang.
Ni betul.
Hanya cinta dan
Nah, dah
mawar.
beli zero.
Oh, diorang punya Euro late game sakit ni.
Terus main late game
Aku
tu.
main. Aku main.
Ikut boy. Aku percaya ikut boy.
Abi, terima kasih someone.
Abot, tengok apa bot?
Teng Aduh, kenapa semua tanya aku? Tak takut gila aku.
Bot, cepatlah bot. Tengok apa bot?
Kau boleh jaga.
Apa Kupra ke?
Aku bro ke juga duk.
Boleh tahan ceiling dengan si apa ni? Ada tapi tak tahu ikut captain lah.
Aku bro lah aku rasa. Aku bro tu.
Percaya dengan draft coach Obot. Betul-betul.
Okey.
In Obot we trust, man.
Aku tidak menyembuhkan rasa
Trust bah, man,
sakit.
dengan si Obot, man. Trust.
Tapi
Bot, kau okey bot main Valentina bot.
Gua akan
okey, Los.
tunduk
Santai,
pada
Los.
kekuasaan.
Oke, Los.
Kamu sudah
Woi, ada budak getau.
Keras.
Main lane tu aku donate RM50. Aku ASP lah, bang. Mana ada aku main jungle, bang. Tolong lah, bang.
Robot ni.
Semua pan ke ni? Lebih kurang. Thank you, Hafiz.
Mengikut draft kami kalah lah, men. Iya, ikut draft kami kalah. Iya. Bot, ada kebiut cakap ikut.
Weh bot, diorang belum apa-apa lagi diorang dah salah faham bot. Mana boleh. Oi.
Trainingnya saya dok. Semalam dah training.
Penonton ni terus, men.
Diorang tak percaya si Obot ah. Mana boleh.
Draft ke dok? Kamu
Wah.
Apa dok? Kita menang ni dok. Robot draft ni dok.
Mesti
Memang lah. Sobot ada apa risau?
Tempias the power of lu tu mesti ada. Takkan tak ada. Kan? Mesti ada punya.
Robot 2024. Robot dah kata santai je Los. Kau mau menang guys.
Cuba guys saya. Cuba.
Madani. Tak tahulah.
Trust keyboard. Trust keyboard guys.
Aku start lah.
Kini ABC. Tak nak dah pakai sini guys.
Baiklah.
Okey.
Oh, dia start dulu.
Rank ya pihak baik. Kan? Iya tu, real sih.
Jangan.
Iya kan.
Cepat.
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 Oke, dah siap.
Santai dulu lah, men.
Main kat atas lah kacau dia punya apa ni?
Belum ambil red
Kupra
buff.
tu. Kupra pula. Ya aku nak try item baru First item.
Pakai lo.
Silakan.
Jom. Gaduh.
Gaduh ni.
Jangan red buff ni.
Bot 3 orang bot, jangan bot.
Tarik dok.
Okey, balik.
Balik dok.
Thank you donasinya.
Tarik dekat rebab dok.
Linknya level 3 dah tu.
Ni tengah ambil ni.
Woi, terpaksa retry aku.
Cepat bot.
Ya, dok. Dia mengacau siap budak ni. Tak apalah, tunggu dulu lah, men.
Oke, siap.
Tanah city.
Mantap. Bagai.
Tengah sudah.
Woi, bolehnya awal punya dia pergi anu sudah. Proses sudah si anu tu.
Willy link ke atas kot.
Ya, dok. Jaga-jaga dok atas, dok. Jaga-jaga atas, men. Siapa atas tu? Ciku, guys.
Ambil ni kot.
Aku jaga kalau ambil.
Datang so.
Linyo dah.
Datang. Aku dari mana ni yo? Dari mana dok aku dok?
Ada mana?
Aku level 4 bot.
Pergi bawah gila mau rotation tu. Ambil level 4 orang aku.
Teman macam mana dok?
Reset.
Tahu ni.
Sabar dok, tunggu aku.
Iyalah, aku tunggu lah kau ni. Cepatlah.
Kalau minum level 4 bagi tahu Kita tak boleh je ni.
Level 4 sudah minumnya tu.
Okey, tak nak lah. 2 orang tiba kuat.
Tak payahlah. Tidak mana pula macam kita, bah.
Ada sudah.
Lalu kita pula dia.
Ada sudah.
Ada 5 linknya.
Tak boleh menang pula tu, men.
Boleh lagi lah dok.
Boleh kada.
Boleh.
Boleh. Aku dah balik.
Alamak, tak dapat duk. Aduh, aku nak berubah tadi tapi tak dapat. Tersangkut.
Mati semua tu kita.
Kita mati 2 orang, 3 orang mati cabut tu.
Mau gas lagi tu, dia mau gas lagi. Sorry dok.
Jangan risau dok. Nanti aku carry dok.
Okey, man, pelan-pelan. Oh, 2 orang 04 tu.
Tak boleh bang lagi tu. Tak boleh.
Sebab
Sudah aku bilang tak boleh.
Kamu masih gas tu.
Harik no pori.
okey.
Awal-awal tak ada ni. Awal-awal.
Tadi sebab aku ni lah tadi. Aku tengah tengok 2 orang tadi.
Ambil ultinya sini tu bos.
Tak ada nak cooldown ni nanti juga. Iya.
Aku dah siap ah. Aku dah siap dah item ni.
Linknya di mid ya.
Tinggal lagi dekat aku dok.
Ada mino tu. Pihak.
Aku tembak je ni. Aku kalau dia orang mon.
Dia ambil blue buff aku. Tak ah, dia aku yang ni hilang tadi. Gaduh kat top.
Aku
Gaduh, gaduh.
Santai dulu lah men. Cari-cari duit dulu, kumpul-kumpul duit aku men.
Wih, macam ramai. Macam ramai kat top tu.
Motor dah gerak.
Ah, dah kurang-kurang nyawanya. Macam belum cukup sakit lagi aku men.
Sabar. Tenang dulu. Menang ni. Menang kita.
2-0 ke bot?
2-0.
Alright bot. Aku percaya. Kena yakin bot. Yakin. 27 link dia.
Gulunya hilang kau.
Gulunya biar sini.
Dekat atas.
Ya, dia mau
Timpa
backup
kita
kita
kurang
dok.
tak kalah dok.
Iya kah kalah.
Iya dok.
Serius nih?
5 orang lah. 5 orang pihak, tak payah pihak.
Aku rasa dok.
Tak boleh lah. Tak boleh pihak.
5 pihak, tak payah pihak.
Ya, dia masuk kau dia tunggang kau biar tunggang kau tengok.
Mati jauh
Tunggang kau gila.
Ditunggang aku dok.
Kamu tidak bisa kabur.
Aku nggak masuk pun. Orang yang aku tadi situ.
Orang gas kau dok.
Ah, mainnya kat sini.
Bawa free.
Aku akan balik.
Ya aku tengah pun.
Ambil tahu.
Keroyok main aku main. Ini mah kita hindari.
Bau kejahatan.
Berapa kita? Oh, 1000 lebih.
1000 lebih lah saya. Tak jauh tu dok.
Dia tahu lah ciku situ kau ciku.
Okay, balik tu. Alamak.
Makhluk jahat tidak layak dapat hilang.
Ya, aku tak tahu link mana hilang.
Juga kampret.
Ah, nyawa dia dok.
Dapat kalau.
Dapat.
Alti apa?
Nyawa gulunya dok. Nyawa gulunya dok.
Itu altironya dulu. Kau kena tahu altironya dulu.
Dengar
Baru kita alti orangnya.
Astaga kukur.
Tuh.
Bawa dorang pergi bawah dorang.
Sisi balik.
Lagi aku tambah bawah tu.
Okey.
Oh, ada link ah. Ni, bawah.
No.
Aku dah tinggi tu dok.
Okey bot. Kasih start bot.
Mari. Ini boleh dok.
Ani. Bagi.
Aduh. Telajak. Wow. Triple kill.
Menang dok. Bagi dok.
Aduh. Gerak 2-3 aja men. Gerak 2-3.
Okey bot. Kau kill aku bot.
Obo tak nak tahu dah doh. Obo tak nak tahu.
Bot. Bot, nyawa penuh bot. Gentle lah bot.
Dok sakit kau tak nak masuk dok.
Hai.
Dorang bergaduh men.
Woi, orang gaduh-gaduh dia masuk tak ada satu lari. Itu je.
Keluar masuk.
Oh.
Paham dok, salah paham. Sumpah salah paham dok.
Okey, tak apa. Yang penting 2-0 bah.
Ya 2-0 nanti.
Okey.
Salah paham lah lo. Sorry dok.
Sudah.
Oi. First time bot kata sorry tu.
Masuk dah ciku guys.
Oh.
Boleh men. Santai. Kita tunggu kita punya power spike ni. Dapat kita punya power spike, rata sudah dorang tu betul.
Kita kuat.
Sekejap tunggu aku Enes.
Dulu tak payah, paham dulu. Tunggu kau ready je. Bagi dorang satu dulu aku rasa lo. Tunggu di bawah.
Boleh ni aku leading satu level dengan link tu. Aku tarik je. So aku reset je so.
Hati-hati doh. Dorang boleh je doh.
Aduh sakitnya bos. Aku tak bergerak weh.
5 orang men.
Ramen aku.
Boleh claim ni.
Bos. Dia nak hentaknya bos, tak hentak pun.
Aku dah hentak dok, sama-sama hentak dengan minat terus sama-sama.
Oh ya ke?
5 orang dok.
Apa orang gaduh 5 orang mana boleh kita 4 orang sabar. Thank you Dalila Hanani.
Pelan-pelan men.
Ciku vet dok.
Kenapa bagi je si ciku ni? Pamir.
Ya, warming dok.
Alah aku salah item mah.
Tapi dorang lot ya. Tengok so.
Kau dah mati gila lotnya dok. Si ciku busuk baik-baik ni.
Jika tahu ke dalam mah.
Boleh sikit.
Sakit mati aku dok. Balik aku men. Wah, gila betul.
Ciku punya. Heri. Tiga.
Santai, men.
Aku backup. Dah balik bot.
No secret.
Okey, siap.
Ini los.
Ya.
Minonya bawa.
Kita nona kita terus. Inilah clear laju.
Sang Berikan kelaparan.
Orang mau ambil bawah lah aku rasa.
Biarlah dia orang ambil bawah tuh.
Ini sini.
Aku tak boleh aktif duluan dah.
Santai men. Pelan-pelan kayu men.
Aku dah faham berapa tu.
Pelan-pelan kayu men. Boleh kasih siku. Kalau tengok sini. Kalau dorong lalu belakangnya.
Semangat kita go.
Tengah ni bot, tengah tengok grip bot.
Okey los. Siap los.
Santai men. Woi. Adik.
5 orang.
Satu.
Aku ada dia untuk kau dia. Aku boleh ke?
5 orang jancuk.
Dia suka bergaul 5 orang lah. Apa lagi? Kasih split push.
Woi, aku mula patut sebalik kata kau.
Sakitnya si Cilionnya.
Si Ciku buat kerja. Ciku punya.
Iyalah Ciku main dia Ciku.
Ciku masih kosong.
Ciku gunya.
Baik Ciku. Dan aku dah sering berlaku.
Masih larisnya men. Santai men.
Mana men?
Gila 2 harinya men.
Apa aku nak buat next? Aku buat inilah. Sebab diorang hero memang hero bergaduh pihak 5-5 pihak.
Dia dorong hero 6-5 tu. Better kau jaga si pihak ni tu. Ni pihak kau jaga si Ciku kah?
Aku okey je.
Boleh ah?
Kita boleh.
Oi, bot sakitnya bot.
Takut dia kena keroyo nanti men. Kau buka aja sikit mata. Tapi
Ranked tournament ni. Fun match.
ini nasib baik saja dia punya magic panas semua stick pandai dia orang punya position no. Kalau tidak, bagi sudah bagi aja men. Agak susah lah, banyak betul dia orang punya stick.
Satu di bawah tu.
Boleh sini kalau lepas. Boleh sini.
Go.
Kata jom. Aku buat ni lah.
Keroyok.
Aku start.
Bagi dia pukul. Pukul rame-rame. Jangan boleh lot. Allah.
Lama macam mana weh lot ke?
Wah, terlalu lagi dok.
Aku on the way.
Sempat kah?
Tak tahu.
All in.
Orang pergi dok.
Okay, dah. Sakitnya bot. Sakit dia punya tu.
Lajunya apa dorong buat kerja men.
Dunia dok.
Tak apa dok. Ni aku boleh clear dok.
Oh, si Cilionnya ni yang sakit tu. Dia bagi dia media belakang.
Iya men.
Dah pernah mati dia tu.
Jadi aku lompat sama si Cilonnya lah.
Betul.
Jauh sangat tapi aku backup bro.
Ya dah susah mau follow up ya. Sabar.
Belakang bot.
Belakang ya.
Belakang lagi dulu.
Bencana.
Solo challenge sahabat 100 ringgit next game pakai line.
Banyaknya krikat top ni. Aku settle top dululah.
Dengan cara apapun.
Yalah, aku bayar tolong korang lah. Korang tak ada clear ni ah. Aku pergi.
Tarik.
Woi, tolong Ciku. Tak boleh Ciku.
Boleh sekarang dong.
Tak boleh kan aku terus.
Minendo. Dia mau endo. Comeback. Let's come back.
Boleh lo.
Jangan aku tak ada nyawa.
Tunggu aku gila lo.
Hidup cepat.
Mati lah guys kepala. Tak buat punca ya.
Hampir mati jo.
Lang pulang. Kita dah balik ah.
Jangan risau dok. Lepas ni aku dah boleh jawab dok. Aku dah dah ni.
Uruara main gamenya tu.
Kita memang kalah sebab ni 4 lawan 5 men.
Segalanya
Boleh, men,
tampak
boleh, men.
lebih
Jangan risau,
cerah
men.
sekarang.
Si Ciko online tu habis.
Repair ke lo? Boleh. Kita pelan kayu.
Aki hangat.
Kau tidak pernah meleset.
Mau pergi dekat Sicilionnya ni setengah mati men.
Botak kita punya tower, 2 tower botak.
Aduh.
Botak
Bawa je
men.
selamat duk.
Baik dok, belum end dok.
Iya dok, ujung-ujung sudah dok tadi. Tiba aku pandai main clip. Oh, Ciku, kau tidak.
Sikit lagi akhir kita.
Aku perlukan pistol ni.
Susah mau masuk ke belakangnya dok. Lagi gila dok. Ya, kamu terelak kill orang. Jaga rotationnya.
Kena dekat anak-anak dia lah.
Kepala otak so.
Kunci linknya dok.
Jaga mid, aku jaga mid lagi tu.
10 saat, Lord.
Lot. Ciko biar di atas. Di mana
Try ke atas dulu.
Pihak langgar cahaya tu pihak. Aku tak ada vision ni.
Cahaya, gila weh. Cahaya dok.
Ada lah. Tak ada ya? Tadi baru aku tengok ada ni.
Di atas ada los, di bawah tak ada.
Okey.
Oh, di situ dia punya dulu dok. Dulunya di situ dok. Dulunya di mid.
sini hati-hati.
Sang cerita.
Dorang tengah tarik.
Dorang di bagian sini dok. Di bagian sini dorang dok. Aku pergi tempat Ciku kalau sempat men.
Kalau dapat minum ni boleh mati kan minum.
Aku tak sure lah damage kita cukup ke tak. Tengok apa item dia pakai.
Baik sikit.
Kita boleh lock dok, boleh tak lock dok. Aku boleh
Sini ada orang.
Jap. Aku rasa bagi aku tak siap pistol sikit.
Ambil tu mid loss. Ambil mid loss.
Cukup. Aku ada pistol lah.
Ada creep mid loss.
Clearkan tu mid tu.
Aku clear
Tidak
lah.
ada waktu untuk beristirahat.
Kau ada hati kah Ciko? Ini kalau Wardi kau boleh datang tak?
10.
Ada sudah satu nih. Boleh lah kampung-kampung.
Kehormatan
Tahan
adalah
dua
etika.
mijiku.
Macam ramai kat sini tau.
Boleh ke dok?
Kalau minum
Dia hati ya.
Hati ada hati. Tak boleh kah?
Aku tak ada nyawa dah aku masuk awal-awal. Aku tak ada orang ni jaga tu. Dia tak kat aku terus dok.
Aku baru flicker tolong tadi.
Go.
Terus semua oli dekat aku.
Boleh sah.
Okey Ciko.
Boleh.
Orang Ciko gerak lu. Lari dulu bot.
boleh di
Boleh
kali defend dok.
Okey 5 saat.
Boleh bah, boleh. Kita sekejap siap hidup. Dorang kita kan tengah posisi kalah. Kita sekejap siap hidup men.
Kena all in ke? All in je. All in. Tak ada orang tadi. TP tadi.
Dia kena buat
Baru melompat los. Masuk sudah los.
Sebab lotnya tinggal laju dari pihak last hit tadi.
Dia memang tahu lah tadi semuanya.
Boleh.
Tuh panik, ulti semut bot. Aku ulti 2 orang lah tadi semua guys. Ramai dah kena. Ramai ke bot.
Clear dok lock tu. Tak ada minum dok. Boleh clear.
Laju dok.
Laju dok. Jangan risau dok. Kita menang ni dok.
Kalau saya ada minum aku berani men. Tadi woi.
Tadi aku kena semua ulti tadi. Mati terus aku.
Kena all in kalau tadi.
Hati dok. Minum besar lagi dok.
Iya dok, pelan-pelan dulu dok.
Aku berharap
Pelan-pelan, men.
dapat hidup dengan tenang.
Mana lepernya?
Sakit
Mati dok.
Okey kena.
Boleh. Aku open.
Mati aku duk. Giling ke sebelah aku.
Bentuknya.
Okey lari dulu geng.
Balik dulu. Woi, kenapa kau lagi turun men?
Kenapa korang tak nak masuk?
Siap dok.
Boleh mati dok. Link tu mati dok.
Okey dia tak ada ulti tu.
Link tak ada ulti dok.
Tak ada tu. Mantap. Okey kita punya base.
Ini minyak ni.
Balik war.
Woi, ini let game.
Hey, susahnya.
Kita menang ni dok.
Santai.
Santai sayang.
Masih boleh main-main.
Masuki aku masuk.
Memang aku jadi human pun boleh pula sebelah aku tadi ya.
Aduh hai.
Boleh ke tu?
Woi, janganlah terlampau lepas tu.
Jangan risau bang, aku lompat-lompat bang.
Aku push atas lah. Korang pergi.
Ya.
Gerak.
Kau kami artis siapa tadi bot?
Minotaur.
Okey.
Bukan shooting time man, ini man. Shootingnya bang, winter crown bang.
Weh, kalau dorang load kan. Dorang laju load tu.
Aku boleh split ni kalau dorang kat lah.
Cuma aku tak boleh masuk awal. Nanti dorang kill aku dulu lah nanti.
Aku nak soal clear ni mid dok. Kalau nak naik dok.
Aku kan tunggu setengah tu.
Aku nak pulang 1.5 dok.
Aku akan melindungi mereka dengan
Sakitnya pihak dorang masuk pihak.
Dorang bertiga je tu.
Dah ulti, minum ulti.
Mino dah ada.
Sakitnya. Woi, sakit dok.
Kita semua tu bangke.
Jangan risau.
Aku tak boleh lawan lah, sakit betul lah dia punya tu. Mati dah.
Mati.
Tiku. Oh, semana lah.
Kita mau revenge ni dok. Macam mana mau revenge dok?
Boleh duduk ni.
Kau boleh nak tarik mana-mana dah so.
Boleh tu. Aku percaya kau tu. Dia tak ada hari tu.
Boleh tu.
Okey so. Alright so, cantik so.
Alright.
Nak boleh lah.
Masuk kenapa tak tarik ke bawah so? Kan?
Boleh dok. Aku tadi yang dok.
Oh lah, aku fikir bawah tak ada, tahu tak apalah.
Baru pergi. Aduh hai.
Kita kemana pula? Nak sempat.
Masuk terus hilang ke? Terus hilang saya tak boleh buat apa-apa.
Jangan risau guys. Baru first game guys. Kita ni jangan panik.
Susah dok. Aku nak boleh ke depan dok. Dikontak oleh si ni.
Salah men. Kita sudah apa yang boleh dok.
Tak apa guys. Kita nak bagi seru guys. Kau ni jangan risau.
Bateri pula.
Apa tak bot? Bot. 2-1 bot 2-1 bot.
Kita guys seru bang, seru.
Seru bah.
Saja kasi seru. Gamek.
Comeback ni men.
Tak ada orang cover kalau bukan apa ni sebab dorang hentak barang-barang tak boleh buat apa-apa.
Minotaur
Kayu aku dok. Habis dah.
Dorang sekali masuk minum hentak.
Aku pula.
Habis hari dengan Lin sakit lah. Tapi tahan lah saya. Damage sakit betul.
Men.
Biar kenapa tak ambil bro? Pikiranku pun tadi bro. Tapi ya kita punya leader cakap.
Janganlah tanya aku dong.
Damage taken.
Obat.
Terus hilang oh.
Itulah bot.
Nickname-nya bisa ganti tak? Itu ubut-ubut siapa yang ubut-ubut?
Bot.
Itu memang namanya lah bos. Dia punya
Daftar di sini obot soalnya namanya.
Bot. Soalnya namamu bot.
Ya.
Tukar.
Kenapa jadi ubut-ubut?
You dah start kau sabar santai.
karena sekarang udah tren bang. Nama
Berapa
2
game
kali,
lagi? Dia best of 3.
Oh bot tak rename patut kalah guys.
Sorry.
Macam mana ni bot?
Obot pertamanya besar ya?
Oh bot namanya besar-besar semua. Mana nama aku macam mana bang?
Enggak ada. Cuman O pertama baik besar.
Okey, pertama besar.
Jangan risau dok. Kita menang dok. Sekejap lagi.
Kau daftar pakai nama tu soalnya.
Ukuran tak sesuai.
Yalah bang.
Oke guys, standby ya. Habis ini kita start game dulu.
Boleh. Kita menang ni.
Dia kena menang 2 game ke? Iya, 2 game.
Pergi sedap tadi.
Aku rasa kita culik Fanny lah Los.
Apa? Aku takut delay ciku.
Obat tak rename men. Itulah kami kalah men. Obat kena rename dulu men.
Boleh Los.
Boleh ya?
Boleh Los.
Boleh.
Tak boleh.
Patutlah
boleh,
kau
apa maju je.
Impak aku.
Nantak je aku tadi.
Impak aku dok.
Menang ni kan?
Lawan siapa men? Batak Gaming.
3-0 ke 3-O nya.
Menang sudah ni.
Bot.
Alhamdulillah.
Nak pakai strategi apa ni bot?
Ya.
Strategi apa? Bot orang
Ini
please. Strategi macam mana Los?
Lampau.
Jangan tekan bot lu. Bot, kau kenapa bila ada Debo kau perform bot? Relax bot.
Lucu ya, siapa ditekan-tekan sudah jauh muka termasalah sudah jauh bodoh.
Bot boleh menang bot. 2-1 bot 2-1
Siap dok.
Hey.
Bantai dok.
Lalu si Limo nanti.
Santai dok. Ya dok.
Obot, okey, obot tukar nama sudah. Obot tukar nama sudah.
Obot tukar nama sudah. Obot
Sudah,
tukar nama
sudah,
sudah.
aku tukar dok. Ayo dok.
Ni berapa minit ni dia bagi kita rehat ni?
Buat nafas diam dia.
Terima kasih
Kamu
guys.
lah
Oh,
ni.
God.
Tak tahu aku berapa minit
Tak
dok.
boleh, memang tak boleh. Aku
Tak boleh
maju.
gila dok sumpah.
Aku ulti dihentak.
Lizia tak main ke? Tidak kan? Lizia ada urusan.
Pihak mid please, kau memang idol mid kan?
Kita menang dok.
Kenapa pula?
Aku macam nak pergi tandas ni.
Kau nak percaya siapa bot kau ni bot?
Ai.
Nah, dia nak percaya mid mu bot.
Kenapa?
Apa bot? Aku percaya kau last boss terakhir tu bot. Aku percaya last boss terakhir tu bot.
Wah, aku percaya kuasa cinta mu bot.
Cuma itulah bot. Ada kau kena timing tu yang awal-awal tu main level 4 tu timing pergi laneku.
Dapat kali belum 4 tadi.
Woi, ada
Kita
sini
pegang
bot.
awal-awal,
Wah,
man.
bot. Ada sini bot bot.
Iya dok.
Bot, kau magic kau paling suka Novaria kan bot kan?
Iya. Nah, iya los Xavier lo takut ke Xavier.
Wah, itu andalan kau lah.
Randalan ke Xavier los.
Si memang main tu kalah ke? Kau ni tahu tak relax ke? Baru first game.
Ah, baru first game dah belum.
Cok, oh belum pandai-pandai jari tadi.
Baru first game ba men. Santai.
Lalu belakang macam magic. Memang tak boleh. Aku depan kau dapat bah aku tadi. Aku open.
Nagamu semua pasti keluar. Ay, aku pasti keluar lah nagamu bot. Ay, terpaksa bot.
Open map hilang.
Naga kau sunaga.
Aku guna jutsu terakhir. Aku terpaksa guna jutsu haram. bot.
Thank you Eri. Randall anak Richard.
Kita tadi memang
Tapi tadi naga pun susah lah men.
Madan ni thank you someone
Tadi oke tuh Cici sebenarnya boy. Betul. Cici oke tadi. Naga pun susah dok tadi.
Kan Cici oke yang paling senang kan licin kan Cici.
Cici tak ngam tu kalau pakai user mungkin boleh ambil Sicilian. Entahlah kita orang main pick tadi kita orang ikut captain.
santai lah, santai.
Kita juga tadi lah aku ambil Cici-nya kalau terbangnya.
Captain. Ai, captain the power of love.
Captain kau dah sistem sumpah.
Bot. Kau tahu bot, Smart Omega nampak nama kau dia orang tak diri kau bot.
Tapi kau itu je buat teruk tu buat.
Dia orang respect kau bot.
Ya, aduh.
Hero. Hah? Oh ya ke? Oh, first game.
First game bah, siapa pun tak sempat panas jadi dulu.
Ya, first game.
Oh ya, dorang lambat aku pergi tandas dulu
Lo tak sempat
Itu
lah dos.
aku pun sama dok.
Oi. Nah, tekan ni lah, get ready je lah. 2 minit.
Aku sudah dari tadi dok. Sudah tandas dari tadi dok.
Aduh kayak.
Berasap lu aku. Bukan berasap.
Ya guys.
Sebatang lu.
Pemainatmu thank you main betul lah so jangan kecewakan kami. Oi, main betul-betul bah sudah kami ni men.
Betul lah do guys.
Nama lagi ke?
Iya.
Menang kan? Lepas ni menang. Bantai-bantai depan ni. Saya.
Tadi sengaja tuh.
Kamu kalah. Gimana kalah menang ni? Menang ni.
Dia nasib baik kan dia main ni.
First game tadi saja tu.
Dia kasih overdraft cik. Kau buat. Teruk dah buat.
Kemana mau bagi duit so? Pergi selling-ku ada sesiabas di situ.
Kau nak apa kau di?
Benda so kalangan perempuan. Mana ada kami kalah dengan perempuan? Siapa perempuan di tim enemy?
Ada perempuan.
Mana ada perempuan lelaki lah.
Semangat bro, semangat.
Solos ready ya, Solos.
Ya, dia di
Kalau
tandas
pergi
mas.
tandas sekejap.
Dia ke tandas mas sekejap mas.
Snow tu perempuan so. Iya aja. Mana ada kami lawan lelaki lah. Betul tak Giri? Oh Giri.
Dia ke tandas mas.
Lagi apa Solos?
Ke tandas.
Tandas. Lagi ke toilet.
Ke WC.
WC awak, WC Kenapa mukamu tertekan habis dok? Janganlah tekan habis mukamu dok.
Siapa?
Mukamu lah.
Snow tu perempuan lelaki semuanya dia.
Kenapa tertekan mukamu tu?
Tak ada lah tekan muka aku gila.
Jangan lepas, kami mau gripex.
Ya Allah, mobil masak tertekan gila dok.
Terima kasih Payung ya. Let's go dok, let's go.
Menang. Ini saya menang kan menang.
Roll lah bot. Aduh macam
Guys,
mana
sorry.
gila.
Tadi aku tak dengar. Solos kemana?
Tandas.
Ke toilet.
Ke WC. Iya.
Mengaku jalan tuh kalah dengan perempuan. Mana ada perempuan ini minyak ni?
Soalnya ke WC belum
Ke
balik.
WC mas. Ke toilet dia.
Okey, udah balik dah.
Belum.
Alhamdulillah. Tuh dia sudah ready bang.
Ready.
Oke siap.
Oke.
Okey, boleh gas.
Oke. Ini dapat betul sudah ya.
5.
Jangan goblok dok.
2, 1.
Kenapa tak pakai purify? Sebab saya jungle kan takkan nak pakai purify.
The enemy is banning.
Benling
Apa pandangan tentang kerajaan sekarang? Okay. Ini habis dorang first pick link tau.
Kita benling.
Ya benling lah duk.
Lizia cuti ke? Cuti. Hari Ahad. Ganti obot.
Kita akan anu sudah deh. Ini kali betul real sudah dok.
Betul guys.
Lebih
Ini real betul sudah.
sekadar senjata. Air tenang menghanyut.
Ben terus bot, jangan bagi dia masa fikir bot.
Betul real sudah.
Jangan bagi dia masa fikir bot.
Lepas tu Ben apa ni?
Kenapa dia ben lagi Johnson kuning?
Ini aku.
Hari.
Sihir adalah hidupku.
Kenapa pada
The
Ben
enemy
Johnsonku?
is banning.
Aku tak tahu lah, so mungkin orang tak suka kot. Orang tak minat kot so.
Kalahkan perempuan. Ui, dorang cakap tulis kalah dengan perempuan jo kita dok kepala dia lah.
Kalah dengan perempuan Jo. So
Oi, tak boleh ni, tak boleh ni bot.
Terakhir dekat autor je.
Oi.
Menanglah senang.
facecam mana Ci? Saya punya facecam kat
Perempuan enemy so. Yalah. Snow tu perempuan dok geng. Dorang bilang
BARLQ tu. Aduh.
Ui.
Itu tidak ada.
Woi, tak boleh ni bot. BA bot.
apalah, kami sengaja bagi dia buat konten.
Ini yang buat aku semangat ni tu. Comeback kenapa ni? Comeback tu. Sino sebab?
Okey.
Sino namanya Sino. Okey.
Kenapa ni? Benapa?
BM je Sino tu. BM je Sino tu.
Tadi duk, dia kacau tadi duk.
Aku dulu tu.
Okay.
Tu Ben hero yang dia main tadi tu.
Aku dulu duk. Lagi.
Ni mau main langgar kah atau mau main sapot-sapot?
Sabar. Ikut draft dok.
Langgar ya.
Langgar bagi obok main apa ni?
Aku main apa? Aku main apa Los?
Main apa ni? Nana.
Lilia. Nana, okey ke Lilia? Okey Lilia.
Tak tahu, tengoklah nanti macam mana.
Aku tengok nanti macam mana.
Dia Roger duk. Oh, dia Fanny
Apa
duk.
perintahmu? Please pick a hero.
What?
Dia Fanny duk.
Okay, aku control cikgu
Boleh.
Jika waktu bagaikan sungai,
Mau apa Los?
aku akan berenang lawan
Aku
arus.
tidak pasti lagi.
Apa ni? Mau Matilda kah atau hero-hero yang ni? Grok kah? Kupra kah lagi?
Kurang tank nanti dulu lah. Magic kalau belum ada pilihan Magic, kasih siap dulu lah.
Naga dulu kah?
Naga dulu pun boleh tu.
Oh, naga macam smart dan
Bangkit melampaui
Aku macam confident tinggi je so, boleh ni so.
kembali bintangnya.
Aku tengah confident tu so, boleh tu so.
Aku real confident ni dok. Pennynya mungkin aku tak boleh urus lah, tapi aku boleh urus Magicnya. Anu MM-nya.
Oh iya juga.
MM-nya sama Magicnya aku bagi aku.
Cinta dan
Ini
lawan yang tidak
ini
akan
Siciliannya
pernah
ni ini.
habis.
Bagi aku urus.
Sesuai saja siap dulu. Semua pasal selen saya, semua pasal.
Kan aku bawa dia masuk bilik lah so, Sicilian ni.
Ay, boleh juga.
Tapi kalau kita mau kalau Penny nanti ada je.
Aku melihat banyak sekali
Your
mangsa.
team is
Tapi
picking.
aku pun tak tahu, tengok channel tu.
Tengok dulu. Kau mau ambil tank dulu pun boleh, baru benteng dorang nanti.
Ini boleh Grok boleh ni kalau nak. Grok ke Mino. Antara dua lah.
Dia ambil semua hero.
Aku rasa Mino yang terbaik lah kalau nak bergaduh.
Tak OP mana lah. Tak OP mana pun dia tak.
Tapi kita tak pada sisi yang boleh kacau Fanny lah nanti.
Sikit pun tak OP.
Oh, Dik! Thank you Podik.
Boleh, tapi Ben lah semua tank-tank yang kacau Kufra. Macam
Salam, mau fly.
Bukan. Kalau kau ambil Kufra baru Ben Mino, okey sudah kan?
Boleh. Tapi banyak
Boleh.
pilihan lah tank.
Ada Tigri lagi, diorang boleh ambil Tigri juga.
Iya,
Apa
Magic.
dulu ni?
Kalau aku Mino tu.
Mina.
Mina.
Gentarlah
Kalau
di
dah pick boleh
hadapan
juga.
Please
kekuatan
ban a hero.
Taurus.
Ben D gila men, apa lagi?
Gigi lah Sekejap, aku tengok dulu. Ada
Aku rasa tak
Digi.
man. Aku rasa tak dia tak pin Digi man.
Tadi diorang tak ada orang depan.
Tak orang
Ada
depan
Fanny.
dok. Betul.
Sama ada kau nak band Tigril, Matilda.
Tigril Grok. Matilda.
Tigril.
Tigril lah.
Demi kemuliaan.
Demi kemuliaan.
Enemy is banning.
Tigir dengan apa?
Sekarang ESP-nya belum nampak sama ROM-nya kan?
Aku tidak menyembuhkan
EXP dengan ROM belum nampak.
Dia akan main EXP apa lah tadi main.
EXP mungkin
Tekah
Rizla
tadi.
Apa Digi ke dia?
Jangan tak tadi.
Pasti Dipo kan bot. Tahu kan pasti.
Aku rasa ESP-nya Terizla.
Betul
Kenapa?
Sabar.
ROM apa diorang ah?
Kalau nak ban Kaja pun boleh tu.
Kaja ke tu?
Boleh lah Boleh lah kaja supaya bebas sikit. Kau tak ketangkap seorang mesti gone.
Aku adalah kekuatan dan wujud asli cahaya.
Rizla. Dia punya aroma kemungkinan besar Tigreal. Tiada pula lain.
Meg!
Ya,
Dari
Thank you, Meg.
Fix
Ini
Tigreal.
bisi lengkap.
Tigreal.
Rangko kali ya.
Tigreal anu.
Pergi guna ke, Meg? Pergi guna ke?
Tigreal kena ban batu Tigreal
Yakin
tu.
aku 100%.
100% kena ban batu.
Oh ya, Pak, bukan Tigreal, apa namanya tuh? Si apa namanya tuh? Rizla Akai ikut. Akai.
Main saber los. Woi, nanti orang kata lu kan baloi. Kan? Lu obot situ
Apa ngam ni? Apa ngam?
Pilihan.
Dia beli hero kau bot. Macam mana ni bot?
Aku bangkit dah hero aku dah. Sumpah lah.
Apa lagi buat yang confident buat?
Mana-mana je cakap confidence semua tu.
Apa
Santai.
kau tengok enemy ni buat kopi ke buat?
Aku tengok enemy.
Boleh buat request dulu bot.
Boleh lah santai.
Aku nak last speak.
Back sana ke back sana duk? Kamu Farah. Boleh je tu back sana.
Kalau kau video okey je bot.
Kalau i.
Woi, dari kau je bot.
Apa-apa je buat.
Loi boleh. Okey bot, steady bot.
Ada cahaya.
Steady. Doi kau. Steady.
Terusuk dia buat.
Kita rusuk habis ni. Ni kuat aku tim fight ni. Kuat dia dok.
Woi, baik dah bot.
Tengah tumpur cakra kah biar? Dah aku nak pergi berasap je.
Betul dok kau cakap apa ni?
Kejap.
Baik sana lah, baik sana.
Dia ambil the Rizla.
Dia nak main tu.
Angela.
Yo.
Apa dok? Kalau dia Angela kita boleh rusuk-rusuk dok buff dia.
Atau kematian.
Dia tak ya juga kan, betul lah.
Aku masuk dekat badan di si.
Oh iya, dah pick aku dah pick dah guys. Baik buat jangan mari.
Hobinya ajak lah ni kalau begini men.
Aku cuba tu. Angela dah tak table.
Angela
Aku akan
Okey.
Betul loh.
Kalau betul nak main lagi aku kena bukan, kalau aku nak main ni boleh je. Cumanya kalau nak main rusawan baik aku main Olan. Gini aku boleh colek je, colek ni ah.
Ya, kau boleh colek bitnya.
Okey, main colek Kita bawa dia masuk bilik Okey. Kita bawa dia masuk bilik nanti. Rikos!
Yun pun tengah kuat lah men. Semenjak item baru tu.
Oi!
Alice glowing baru
Ada beatbox.
Alice Dati
Thank you,
adalah
boss.
si yang boleh urus geng-geng budak-budak sisi ni. Contohnya si Pia dan juga Obor. Ya betul.
Ada aku jadi satu ada aku so.
Jiwa tu ada, jiwa tu.
Ada aku santai ada aku guys. Aku hero ni, hero real guys.
Oh, dia main Warcry.
Okey, tiada satu orang pun pakai Purify, kebanyakan Flicker, Alice pakai lari laju. Okey. Alice-nya lari laju duduk EX.
Buat perkiraan tu.
Dari Gwencana dari
Gwencana.
Solozlicious.
Selian tu los.
Apa?
Ya betul.
Okey.
Alice-nya ni.
5 seconds till the enemy reaches the battle. Smash them.
Aku start dulu lah.
All troops deployed.
Someone.
Guys.
Aku
Jadi blue buff.
dia start blue tu.
Kita bagi dia 2 kali buff ya. Lepas tu kita yang bagi dah. Game buat tau dia. Roger kat sini duk. Apa hal Roger ni? Tembak tak kena. Angela pun kat sini duk. Kenapa duk?
Oh, dia nak ni oh.
Dorang tak trade dok fininya.
Ya ke? Ya main rasa-rasa so, kita tak tahu so.
Nak blue buff. Dia pergi red buff tu.
Tengok.
Tu apa sih rasa-rasa so?
Ni?
Boleh ke pihak?
Boleh. Tapi aku skill ni.
Macam sengit je bos.
Susah dok, fininya dekat atas.
Kau jangan dekat dengan aku bos, nanti terkosi level nanti.
Dia mula lalti aku main mati aku duk oleh Fini tu.
Betul.
Jangan takut so. Ai kemon so.
Santai, fininya tengah ada di atas. Level 4 sudah.
Boleh amat.
Boleh, masalahnya dia nak mau keluar.
Kena aja dia, aku terus ni.
Dan pernah aku dia sumpah.
Aku tak tahu mini Fini tu hilang.
Santai bot, aku ada bot.
Okey.
Wah, nah, mati bot.
Ini tak kalau.
Ininya
Dia tak ada energi tu.
Ada pihak.
Aku ada kan.
Aku try pergi Angela jap.
Kenapa mati
Mana men?
Dia dah fikir dah Angela. Mati.
Betul.
Aku tak ada retri. Pakai dah.
Aku rasa dia tak masuk juga tu sebab dia ni. Dia apa?
Pergi bot. Dia start ni sudah.
Aku tengok.
Tapi Penny ya.
Ini nak restart dulu lah men.
Aku level 4.
Sabar lah.
Di situ.
Sabar sekejap doh.
Level pun bergaduh. Ambil pelan-pelan sudah lah. Bukannya kita nak betul telefon.
Level pun bergaduh men.
Ya, level pun bertumbuk bah.
Kenapa tunggu je kalau diam-diam kan.
Tadi curi aku tak bagi.
Kill dia penjahat.
Ya Allah, biar sorok penat tu.
Kenan kumpul bawa. Jeleknya.
Jelanya level 4.
Sudah dia masuk badannya.
Tak kena terus.
Bangsa kunaga juga do.
Tak kena terus.
Naga pergi sini. Dorang boleh cepat.
Dorang terus turtle do gara-gara.
Kota.
Boleh doh, ada minum doh.
Ini clear. Bagi.
Baik doh.
Lah. Betul.
Aduh, aku baru keluar doh.
Tak apa doh. Kita dapat.
Aku ada.
Orang doh kita dapat.
Lootnya tadi doh.
Gila aku nak.
Mana ada loot bot.
Betul.
Dapat 2 pun okey apa tu.
Okey tu bukan dia mantap.
Aku dapat bawa sisilan dia masuk bilik.
Baiklah, siap los.
Bawa aja dia masuk bilik los. Dia 4 bak masuk bilik.
Tapi keras lah Sicilion ni gara-gara dia buat item apa lollipop tu.
Keras los lollipop.
Mau mati sudah dia do.
Ini terdapat tapi boleh ulti kill tu.
Aku ada page aku boleh kill dia do. Betul.
Link doh.
Sudah. Angela mana Angela? Angelanya mana tu?
Ada
Dah. Dia terkeluar dia.
Lin mana boleh bawa dua-dua masuk dalam bilik yang satu orang saja boleh bawa.
Tidak.
Masalahnya berubah aku tu macam bahaya je berubah aku tu.
Aduh, Fanny-nya bahaya lah.
Oh tak.
Fanny ada
Aku ada 7 saat lagi yang mati yang ulunya ni.
baik dah situ, modal alti.
3 2 1.
Onda hati ya.
Saya lari dia dok. Begitu shot dia lepas men. Bapak keras saya budak lah tu.
Ini aku 30 second.
Aku kena buat sailboat kejap lagi.
Aku terus buat heal ni ya.
Jom ya.
Ada lo je lah.
Apa tu?
Dia ada men.
Aduh mati aku dok.
Lari.
No!
Tapil bot.
Aduh sayang dia. Aku tetap teralih defend tu pula. Lepas tu dah buat ni pula skill ni kan hilang.
Kenapa kau lari so?
Balik tiada skill tiada ulti ku men.
Aduh tu pun dalam boost tu je. Kena game lah kita ramai-ramai.
Masih dia.
Gaya.
Aku ada 10 second strategy tu. On the way.
Boleh.
On the way.
Aku januar.
Ult is not ready.
Berusaha ulti ku men. Ada buff di sini nanti dong. Ada buff di sini dong, mau tereka.
Aku dah pakai retri. Jomlah.
Tapi aku tidak ulti dok.
Masuk je aku peduli apa aku. Mana kau ni? Sini kau, belakang sana. Nah, aku petri dah dok. Mampus kau ni.
Oi! Mak tak bergerak doang aku. Arti aku tak dapat diri mati terus dah tadi.
Tolong!
Bom!
Dekat rumah aku. Bagi ni.
Okey, mantap.
Boleh dekat. Tak boleh dekat gila aku geng.
Aku sakit dengan ni lah si apa tu.
Aku suruh landing dekat
Elis
sini
tu.
memang susah aku dah pergi dekat ni. Dia bersot tapi dia sailboat ini je men.
Tu dia suka main hidup yang keras lah. Sabar. Nanti aku buat sailboat nanti.
Nanti si anu tu.
Kita jangan bagi dia 2 kali dapat bar dah okey. Tu kali ketiga jangan bagi dah.
Jangan bagi, jangan bagi.
Dia tak mati, tak dapat lah tadi kan dia mati
Jelah,
kan.
jelah. Kali ketiga jangan bagi dah. Ikut 2 kali je.
Nanti ada lagi orang yang datang lagi men.
Ininya sini. Ininya depan tu.
Shit betul Elisnya ni. Tunggu dia aku ada ulti lah. Ada ni.
Di sana dah.
Duduk dekat bawah, sampai ni kat bawah.
Lari dia dok.
Sampailah aku siap.
Okey, ada buff dia.
Nampak sini bot. Pel aku. Aku lagi.
Tak boleh weh. Kita dah ada dominus ke ah?
Kejap.
Boleh. Kalau nanti di dekat tanah tu, dekat tanah tu.
Aku dah pakai referee ah.
Kejap.
Oh iyalah bang.
Dia yang menahan lama.
Motor reka.
Aku dah pakai referee tapi nak gaduh-gaduh je.
Boleh dong gaduh.
Susah ajak ni.
Ulti ku tiada men. Tapi kalau mugas ni. Mugas.
Enemy has slain the turtle.
Alah, aku miss ah.
Masuk dinding tu. Boleh tau. Mantap tau. Satu lagi tau.
Aduh, dapat lari tu Angelanya.
Jangan
Dapat pelan-pelan.
Ulti ku tiada men tadi.
Tak kena aku.
Bejol kan.
Santai men. Boleh men.
Nanti buff dia keluar men. Jangan mati.
Bila aku nak dapat execute aku ni susah betul.
Teruk yang tu aku kena bantai terus aku lepas ni duk.
Sama bot, kau dekat sama aku.
Iyalah duk. Aku ni aku siap terus balik. Siap.
Salahnya aku ingin kejar kamu sebenarnya dok. Betul.
Tak nak mati tu guys.
Muhil kamu punya pasal, aku yang kejar kamu. Bawa ni.
Healnya tinggi betul.
Kalau begitu sudah biar aja static tu anu.
Ini ulti crack.
Ya aku ada anu sudah ni.
Pergi sikit.
Baik.
Sakit dok.
Buff dia.
Aku sudah.
Jom belum bau je weh.
Heal
Bot, boleh teleport bot.
Los, cooldown los. Tapi teleport. Cooldown.
Aku buka.
Aku ada.
Aku tak dapat lah. Okey, kena execute.
Sudah.
Execute yang pertama. Aku tadi dapat lah tadi. Kau tak dapat eh? Dapat lah.
Pennya dapat.
Tadi aku pun kena zoning juga tadi.
Tapi bukan pennya kan yang dapat. Iyalah pennya yang dapat.
Ya ulti aku men.
Modal. Pennya modal tu.
Ya ultinya aku men. Kayak
Dapat main padahal aku Petrio dia tadi.
Aku kena kacau kat belakang.
Rico, Jung, Bibik, thank you.
Kita boleh load tu. Kau nak?
Marilah, aku pun ada retri dah.
Mana kita lock dulu.
Aku punya ulti 20 saat tau. Berapa saat lagi ulti ku men?
Retrinya atas.
Jom naik atas gitu.
Oh, tak ada buat surprise ke bot?
Mati ni.
Kopi atas lu, tapi nak kopi atas lu.
Baik je biar.
Mari.
Aduh, double. Sudah.
Lambat satu.
Kau nak mulut.
Alamak, teramik tu.
Buff dia.
10 saat buff dia.
Aduh modal lah.
Ada blue buff dia weh, mari.
Ada babnya men. Men ada babnya men.
Guru. Oh.
Ambil je tu.
Bagus siku.
Aku tahan lot kalau dorong macam-macam.
Ult is not ready.
Tiada lot ko, tiada ulti ko men. Aku cuma mampu begitu begini je men.
Launch attack.
Wah.
Ulti ku sebelah sekarang.
Boleh dong. Masuk dong.
20 dah ada ulti ko men, tapi kalau mau petri boleh. Sudah.
Masuk bilik.
Dah ada ulti ko men, masih belum ada ulti ko men.
Aduh, tempat terbang pula dia.
Heal, mata aku heal.
Okey, heal.
Bukan modal.
Lagi bang.
Dia bukan modal gila dia pilih terbang tu.
Kadang-kadang modal juga kadang-kadang. Sumpah.
Tapi kau tak nampak kata dia berkebel-kebel tu.
Tapi tadi kalau yang selalunya dia modal Shadow.
Tengok tu. Gila.
Kita ada stunner, sebab kita ada stunner.
Sini di atas, sumpah sini. Atas main. Sini atas duk, boleh duk. Alah,
Roger dah flicker Dah kenapa dia tak aku balik ni?
Bagi Shadow ni berlari.
Roger kau dapat lari macam tu je Roger. Serius ah.
Tengok. Cantik kak aku. Kamu tengok. Gila enggak? Gila enggak Petri enggak? Gila enggak?
Aku dah kata duk, kita menang duk. Jangan risau.
Gila enggak?
Aduh. CPO. Sikit lagi.
Let's go. Kami elos.
Kita minta tolong kan?
Silakan nak bot. Santai bot.
Dia tak ada link, tak boleh main duk.
Siapa apa ini? Aku jadi arti. Aku tak boleh makan kat sini ya.
Santai duk. Kita jangan panik je.
Ya.
Sekarang aku tak boleh makan duk.
Tadi tu panas-panas hati tadi tu. Bukan jauh.
Oh, dia cari kau je bot. Mana boleh dah bot.
Macam mana los? Dia mudah arti ke aku tak los.
Tak boleh. Mana boleh. Tak boleh lah bot.
Ya, dia ni kita kalah tu.
Thank you.
Dia nak tahu kita main jat tadi, men.
Itulah cukupkan
Best of 3 ke? Best of 3.
1000 ros lagi.
Padahal goyang.
Bestnya bawa orang masuk bilik. Lepas tu bantai terus kan.
Bisi bang. Dini.
Tapi tak tahu item min tadi tu item baru kat ini kan. Dia kena set tinggi lah bau sedap.
Stres aku
Sekali lagi.
Alti aku siap tu.
Main langgar je dok. Game kita kena main langgar je dok.
Keluar alti. Sudah.
Betul naga. Bukan belum.
Benar ya dah.
Tapi hero EXP dia memang macam ni keras kan. Dia suka main.
Ya.
Ya los.
Tapi dia tak main Trizla tadi. Dia main Alice kan.
Alice dok. Dia mau combo dengan Angela main Alice.
Kalau aku tahu aku main Dairot. Aku tepuk dia bau sedap main Dairot.
Nak cukup dah diamond ku dok.
Cuma tadi tu orang main membuat begitu kan. Orang kan bila si Ciku tadi kan Alice-nya tak boleh tahan sama dok.
Kalian perfect lagi ya.
Oh, okey.
Thank you.
Kau nak first picking kat Lon?
Bayar.
Boleh.
Siap. Thank you.
Boleh lah Ciku, boleh lah.
Kalau tak nak pick kita band duk. Aku tak bagi dia duk.
Okey.
Ambil link dulu los.
Boleh kita first pick link lah.
Okey, kita band sesi lah. Semak lah sesi dia.
Boleh. Tapi sisi dia tu. Ni lah item lollipop tu buatkan nyawa dia naik Bila rendah.
Lollipop
Biasalah kata nama kat Fun. Kau ni relax lah kan. Korang kalah first game dah kalah.
Ini buat muka marah-marah ya.
Ya, Obot selalu jauh
Main
dari kau.
Xbox lah. Kita main link lah.
Macam mana dia tu fan cari aku terus tu. Dia buat aku je siapa muka kemam.
Aku punya lah kejar dia.
Macam mana dia buat kau ketua ayah.
Panggil orang main kalau mau teleport main.
Aku sudah panggil kau tadi kan pihak.
Dah, aku rasakan orang akan ambil Mino nih kejap lagi nih.
Okay, terima kasih guys for the gift guys. Bagi rezeki guys.
Orang ambil Mino nih, second pick nih.
Si Obot nervous nak memanggil tadi Obot.
Si Obot nervous.
Macam main rank lah, macam main nervous macam main rank baciku aku, macam main rank.
Mau ada CD baru dia lain dong. Mau ada CD baru dia buff dong. Sumpah lah.
Bot bangga.
Mau nabot.
1.000.
Bangga. Okey lah aku.
Okey buat. Tadi macam kurang guna ulti je bot.
Lu sebab aku cooldown terus ulti ku lu.
Ulti kau guna bila?
Aku guna terus bro. Ada siap aku guna, ada tak aku guna.
Oh iya ke?
Aduh. Dorang nak pergi hari je. Kita nak band hari guys. Tak nak pergi hari. Kita nak band hari je. Hari tu semak ah. Yang first
boleh tak los main Gushen? Boleh. Tapi saya rasa link kalau link kena ban, okey. Gushen lah.
Obot mau dibu saja tu. Aduh.
Boleh request ke tak? Boleh guys. Boleh tak request guys? 1,000.
1,000 dok.
1,000 kan request.
Dibu kau cakap Obot kena tenang dengan ada dibu.
Nak berapa kali kena lawan batu?
Dia penuh tu ke ni? Penuh tu satu sama.
Satu sama sudah main.
Sama dah.
Best of 3 kan bila orang.
Ini siapa minta ID tu? Ini.
Ini apa?
Kalau ada Dibo dia akan bersatu jadi Dibo. Betul.
Pilih skin JJK yang mana?
Memang suara serah.
Jangan nervous bot. Aduh.
Nia Yina.
Bot dalam
Apa
live
ni?
bot ada.
Aduh, saya lupa nama dia.
Gila tu menangan perempuan. Hei, wakak aku. Yang mana perempuan nanti aku cari dia. Siapa yang mana satu perempuan?
Ada penalti tak lo satu sama? Tak adalah.
Ajar betul.
Kalah balik, menang teruskan. Macam tu lah.
Yang mana tadi dia slow. Nah, ngamlah Sicilio nak cari dia, tapi pilihnya aku banyak. Hatlah tadi.
Boleh request tak lah. Saya saja lah.
Susah tadi guys.
Rico.
Ini cari aku ya.
Saya main jungle Rico.
Tak gitu buat buat.
Kalau 5 kill boleh jadi drafter ke?
Kenapa pakai hero penakut sumpah jauh-jauh tu?
Kan biasa-biasa.
Turnamen tadi tidak dikasih.
Ada lower bracket ke? Tak ada. Ni kalau kalah balik guys. Kalau menang teruskan.
Penentuan kan Dok? Penentuan.
Penentuan.
Okey.
Kalah balik dok kita.
GG.
Kalah pulang.
Kenapa pakai namamu Kenapa pakai namamu kamu Dok?
Mana ni Dibo masuk level bot.
Oh, okay, steady bot. Ada buff.
Ada buff.
Ada buff. Thank you Pokiong. Saya terbaik gold mine.
Mantap.
Thank you Pokiong.
Dibo dalam live dia.
Masih bang.
So, sabut sikit si Obot ba, Dibo tolong main.
Buff sikit si Obot ni. Buff abang Su sikit.
Jangan. This game boleh okey Daniel. Thank you Daniel.
So cakap lawan Smart Omega tarik diri bang.
Tarik diri dah.
Nak jadual pack melanggar.
Tengok nama Obot tarik diri terus tu.
Semuanya 7 jel ni.
Aisar. Thank you Aisar. Menang ni terus final ke? Entahlah, saya pun tak ingat lah. Wih, 50 City Pokiok saya. Terima kasih Pokiok.
Boleh lah tempat.
Woi. Tak susah kan bang By the way, terima kasih bang. Semoga rezeki bang. Sihat selalu bang.
Langgar ranus lah ni. Langgar ranus sudah.
Doakan saya dapat kerja yang bagus. Amin. Terima kasih.
Oh, thank you Pak Pau.
Bila nak start? Jari kot.
Sesilan Harit memang band guys, memang band Sesilan Harit dia tu.
Ada naga auto win ya kau auto win ada naga.
Saya akan buat baik sesial tu. Guys
Aku rasa dia band lagi Johnson ku dok. Takut dia tengok Johnson ku dok.
Dia pro parsia gila.
Nggak, dari tadi 2 game sudah dia band Johnson men.
Change lah 3.
Dia takut Johnson kau men.
Bolehnya.
Terima kasih banyak.
Takut dilanggar men.
Thank you Fa, welcome Fa. Terima kasih.
Satu ke? Sama guys.
Thank you Fa.
Bot. Game kali ni kau nak main apa bot?
Main apa lo saya?
Gaya lagi 700
Rasa lah. Itulah tap like luar guys.
Mana kalau aku bawa Johnson nanti.
Tapi aku dah 1M lah.
Ada kombinasi lagi.
2M kan? Thank you Rono.
Johnson Kadita.
Bot nak tahu bot main apa bot?
AOD Novaria nanti.
Oh, terbaik Novaria Novaria untuk safety baik tu. Okey bot, kalau menang bot, aku lain nak bagi free service.
Servis apa tu? Servis kaki kah?
Ya. Kau akan tahu bot. Menang. Aku lain bagi servis.
Tengok live TV bang. Di TT bang, di TT biru ada.
Aduh, terima kasih kan untuk like-like-nya. Tak tahu sih tiba-tiba dah ni nak kat 2M. Terima kasih
Bila Moonton.
Tak lawan Omega ke? Omega tarik diri guys. Main kirikan. First match kan ni? Dah sama lah.
Dah lah, kena goyang dah.
Aku cuba make this.
Aduh, thank you untuk gift-nya.
Cuba. Tak pernah.
Terima kasih kawan-kawan
Terima kasih guys.
Baik liga apa ni?
Kawan sombong gila. Mana 3 warkop?
So dua game kita main baru sekarang perasan?
2 game dah so.
Aku baru perasan men.
Thank you Pokio. Masa depan punya perjalanan. Thank you Pokio. Okay, bot.
Hari dulu dok, hari dulu.
Alright bot.
Benar.
Bot, jangan ni bot. Jangan pressure bot.
Tak pressure.
Minta dia bagi kau semangat bot. Contoh buat aku cakap dia, Nami tak kata semangat sekali kata go to hell katanya. Thank you bebas joki take care bang Pokio saya semoga rezeki bang. Masa depan.
Jangan sampai lepas Johnson.
Jangan dapat masa depan. Future journey.
Mata gaming jangan lepaskan Johnson please. Kena langgar kamu ni Johnson Kadita, Johnson Odet. Johnson.
Rasa bukan
Beckham
tu
lah.
Jim.
Banyak pun
Main
Johnson,
link
Ben
kot.
memang
Rasa
Johnson.
link kot.
Aku rasa kita ban Tigreal dulu dok.
Oh, iyalah. Dia ban dia nak mengamuk ada.
Demi kemuliaan.
Dia ban Digi dah ni.
Is banning.
Mino.
Mana mau tengok live post ni? Dia ban lagi Johnson ku dok.
Okey.
Takutnya pada orang mau kasih lepas Johnson ku men.
Kamu dok.
Jap, kita tengok lagi ah.
Kita nak first pick link ke apa ni?
Boleh.
Speak link lah.
Kita nak ban glue ah. Kacau glue.
Kau Los, kalau kau main link apa kacau Los?
Aku rasa ini lah kot.
10
Dia tak buat apa tunggu sikit. Tapi okey je aku rasa. Kita boleh curi-curi dia punya buff kan.
Kita boleh dulu.
Ben apa men?
Sudah dok.
Dah kita tengok dulu.
Tengok macam mana.
Solos dok, Solos link dok. Apa kacau Solos dok?
Macam lama macam Los tengok Los.
Coba Los, kau mau ke BP ni ke apa?
Feni lah.
Ya Abang Fukio, terima kasih Abang Fukio.
Baik, Abang Fukio tu. Thank you
Stress yo bot, kena kanu kena modal lalti.
Aku sudah cari dok.
Iya, coba kena modal lalti tadi.
Min sitar. Okey je kot, saya min sitar.
Seselion ke? Aku ambil dah seselion dok. Kalau begitu. Dia mau main seselion sangat kan? Aku ambil seselion dia dok.
Main dah.
Kita boleh main sisi.
Thank you King. Ya.
Dia modal link men.
Betul. Thank you Iman. Alah, anak Melayu sejati.
Dia goyang sama
Okey.
muka.
Aku ambil link terus.
Link.
Tidak setiap hari kamu bisa menemukan gamer
Asal
yang
takut sangat dengan Johnson sih sebab aku baca
Syarul.
Captain Johnson bang.
Manis.
Kombinasi Johnson ku seram.
Nak bagi dia dah.
Ini kan tengok musuh.
Oi, Minotaur bot. Besi bot.
Terselesaikan.
Minotaur lagi diambil dok. Okay, kalau begini kita
Dia ambil Roger kot.
Kita boleh main ni dok kalau nak dok.
Oish.
Iya dok, betul dok.
Wah, kulai.
Angela Mid pun boleh bang, Angela Mid.
Angela Mid serius Angela Mid.
Iya, tapi
Uzong dok, pick Uzong dok. Oi, sedap dok.
Woi, betul dok. Tak boleh
tapi
Oi.
Nathan lepas ni, boleh je nak ambil Angela dan Nathan sedap dok sebenarnya.
Ya, aku main Nathan dulu. Aku nak main Nathan lagi.
Serius Okey. Angela aku guys.
Nathan dengan apa ah? Dengan apa ni? Bot kau nak main tu ke bot?
Sabar dulu dok, sabar dulu.
Baik dok. Bot dia main tu je bot. Macam mana ni bot?
ada yang lebih merah daripada bunga.
Oi, dia main tu je bot. Macam mana ni?
Itu saya dah yakin Ros. Macam mana?
Up tu. Angela nak up tak?
Melihat harapan yang paling
Kita nak menang dok.
Angela kan agak pilih.
Iman, saya ke Iman.
Aku rasa Angela dulu dok kalau nak.
Angela lah.
Angela dulu men.
Aku selalu nampak kalau bot main Angela kan, dia ni sikit, propose sikit dia main Angela. Selalu dia masuk badan kat awek dia.
Kau tak boleh.
Ya.
Kan?
Fun je, bukan serius pun.
Jangan lupa solat bang. Okey bang. Habis game ni aku solat bang. Jangan risau bang.
Macam nak serius sangat guys. Dia lebih ke arah macam gelak-gelak, santai.
Tapi kalau aku main Angela aku nampak macam terapi je bot. Rapi je.
Aku masih boleh lagi.
Robo je kau main kan. Wah.
Jangan risau men.
Diorang pilih hero
Ini pun okey juga sebenarnya.
Main langgar.
Diorang main langgar juga tu. Anyone, terima kasih anyone, Alex.
Kalau Terizla, aku boleh macam buka war dulu baru kawanku tolong kasih rata begitu.
Biarkan mereka yang jadi pahlawannya. Akulah kebenaran yang didambakan dunia.
Ada Terizla.
Ini dulu ke?
Boleh.
Kita boleh lawan lagi.
Okey.
Apa lagi kau nak bola jumpa men? Betul je.
Diorang tak ada EXP dengan ni lah marksman.
Glue man, glue.
Glue. Malas nak layan budak-budak getah tu lah. Nanti dia jadi bola jadi melekit nanti pada kita nanti.
Langsung ditunggang kita tu.
Kalau dia tunggang obat saja tak apa guys. Semua guys.
Itulah pasal. Dia puak beranda kan kita tu.
Tidaklah guys.
Leo EXP ke? Enggak lah, dia enggak EXP ni, Leo jungle.
Melainkan kau nak main Faramis okey lah.
Leo mau jungle ni confirm.
Boleh lah dia main tu kan. Lu tu. Enemy macam Steel Snipe je. Entahlah, saya pun tak tahulah.
Takkanlah Steel Snipe kepala otak lah dok. Main tournament pun dok.
Apa dok?
Aku tidak menyembuhkan rasa sakit, tapi memanfaatkannya.
Bot, dia pilih hero kau bot. Macam mana ni bot?
Kamu dah tahu aku ni Angela Mid dok. Dia tak faham ni dok. Tidak faham kita
Ben apa? Mau Ben Haris lagi kah?
Aris sudah ban doh. Aris
Aris dah ban dah sudah first ban lah.
Apa lagi yang
Okey, gelua kuasa.
Gulu lah.
Duk.
Gulunya kacau tiap tadi. Power gila gulunya ini kacau serius power.
Rank ke tournament? Fun match.
Kacau gila, dia kacau dia zoningnya gila doh. Zoningnya nak main-main doh.
Okey siap lah tadi dia punya glue. Okey siap.
Gila kau.
Waalaikumsalam Zimi.
Salam los, semoga maju jaya.
Amin. Terima kasih Mas Zimi Baik bos. Thank you bos.
Kamu kena tanda badan so ya. Aku kena pakai hero yang tanda
Dia
badan.
mau sakit sekarang sebab dia kena bau. Ya.
Rizla atau Xbox ni.
Thank you Macha.
Aku sudah menunggu terlalu lama.
Kari enggak ni?
Dari depan nak kari. Sekejap, si Teng apa? Mau Teng apa balik kalau begitu?
Boleh ke so komen Rizla so?
Boleh.
Rizla macam tu. Gua tak
Rizla boleh, men.
Nanti pecah so amo kau.
Kita nak ni orang depan yang
ini boleh.
Rizla atau Arlot lah.
Boleh kalau mau grup apa Rizla lah balik.
Aku rasa Rizla atau Arlot lah.
Aku rasa Rizla lah. Aku boleh penalty zone tu.
Penalty zone tu apa?
Artinya lah Pak.
Okey.
Aku dipenjara.
Gua asyik for the gift guys.
Tak payah magic lah guys. Aku perlu kena.
Kau mau CP apa men? CP ya?
Pia apa meh pia? Pick up pia.
Kau mau apa?
Boleh pia.
Grup pun okey tu men.
Wai, ini handal ni.
Follow up si Solos. Aku boleh jaga-jaga si Ciku kalau ni nanti dicari dia.
Fuad Hitam. Thank you Fuad Hitam. Apa ni sampai sini namanya tu?
Aspiran. Endaklah. Kolektor.
Tournament kan ni? Iya betul tournament.
Aku berasa dulu ya.
Apa main zone ni gila?
Sabarlah pokoklah dulu.
Oh, dia punya Pakito EXP.
Mana satu guys?
Aku rasa aku nak main Moonton lah ni betul.
Sekarang skor satu sama ke? Satu sama.
Moonton je lah aku rasa dia.
Last game ke? Ya, last game Iman.
Thank you baby, terima kasih Mr. Rabali Natalia Baker, terima kasih ya.
Diorang betul-betul nak main late game ni.
Wih, diorang ni betul-betul main ni. Wih, lama sakit lagi tu. Facebook tu.
Tak apa dok, aku dah ada counter orang ni semua dok. Kita
Jangan lagi.
Oh, dia
War EXO. Aku nak main banyak-banyak damage sikit, banyak-banyak tanky lah sikit sini.
Semangat sikit. Mana suaranya?
Alright.
Let's go.
Tank ni men.
aduh ai.
Semangat sikit tu.
Kenapa
Semangat bos.
Semangat suara.
Dari peminat.
Peminat.
Menang satu kali los.
Kita cuba Boleh, kita cuba.
Buat War EXO dulu pun okey Kutso.
Bot, kita lawan enemy sama bot. Kau nak macam mereng kau.
Stream snap ni
Kita lawan enemy sama guys. Kau nak lah.
Let's go.
Aku rasa beta aku pakai ini dulu dok. Aku buat
Okey, dia main vengeance.
Dominan ice okey sudah ni.
Waalaikumsalam Dragon.
Kita ada dua juga biar aku jadi tank sini. Pembuka. CP hero setup dia.
Aku blue lah. Ya, kita jumpa enemy tadi yo. Oh, ini penentu enemy tadi yo.
Yang memang hero itu jangan pakai dok. Si hero itu jangan pakai dok.
Apa sangka?
Kau tidak bisa menghindari.
Kau block ke pia? Kau block.
Kenapa aku beli rom dok bangke?
Kenapa aku rasa delay pula game ni?
Aku dah dapat lah. Dapatlah.
Tadi aku rasa okey ke? Game ni kita naik pula.
Ya, gitu dong.
Lawan aja sini dok.
Wah.
Lawan aja lah.
Leomot kat bawah Dia tengah ambil level 4 tu.
Dapat apa?
Ada ni lagi tau.
Okey.
Dia di sini dia. Duduk.
Cari Pokemon lah Solos.
Kau ni kenapa ni? Nakal lah kau ni. Ikat bot. Kau pelan je bot.
Dia level 3 lagi los.
Ya duk.
Biarkan angin yang memanduku.
Aduh, cepat. Kira cepat.
Mana dok?
Level 4 lah dia.
Kira cepat.
Atas nasi los. Kalau
Dia dah pakai retri. Sekejap.
Oh enggak.
Kita lagi
Aku
close.
buat, aku
Boleh
buat,
penting kat depan
ambil tengah biar, ambil tengah biar.
Cabut, cabut.
Ambil tengah biar, ambil tengah biar.
Ambil tengah. Okey.
Sini bot.
Si Lomo dah tarik kuda dah.
Tidak bisa menghindari dia.
Hilang aku bot. Dah lama lagi tutup nih, hilang aku. Sini lah bot, kasih clear.
Nanti kalau korang boleh set up turtle.
Boleh. Aku level.
Mengangkasa.
Lepas tu sampai aku pergi kacau blue bar tu. Kau boleh so?
Boleh.
Kalau dia pergi aku half HP ni, aku half HP.
Aku sedap sendiri ni. Aku dah ulti loh,
Ya. Aku delay ni bot, tak tahu kenapa.
Kenapa delay lu?
Mana aku tahu.
Tidak ada gambarnya ni, Pai.
Berikan bulu.
Percaya.
Waduh, flicker sudah men.
Oi lah.
Bapak jangan ngoyo.
Ni belakang.
Baik. Kau dapat 2 kill guys.
Ni.
Kejap. Aku hantar. Sabar. Allah, habis aku punya.
Pipa.
Aku dah pakai retri Tapi tolong ah.
Boleh los. Ada orang jauh. Kamu nama dia orang perempuan tu. Bapak.
Amba terima kasih.
Ini keluar. Allah, awal betul lah. Baru keluar.
Baik. Angela user guys. Angela user duk.
Kau kena pakai hero gegel bot
Hero Google man. Ni kalau so training kan kamu.
Itu bot. Bercakap tu.
Hero Google man. Pipa. Hero training duk guys.
Ada ulti lagi ni.
Thank you Zimi. Makasih
Pedangku tidak meninggal.
Iya.
Kau mau pergi cakap
Okey. Aku ada
Aduh tu.
Wah, meletup.
Santai cikgu. Ya cikgu.
Weh, hilang expo-nya men.
Pasen guys.
Pelik bot Gila bot.
Expo-nya duk datang. Aku mau barang datang ah.
Okey.
Expo-nya di atas sudah men. Aku rasa dia orang soft lane lah men.
Ya men.
Enggak.
Ya obot guys. Obot pasen tu guys.
Aku ambil lagi lah.
Team destroyed a turret.
Ada ke nak gaduh?
Jauh lagi, lama lagi tertentu.
Waalaikumsalam someone.
20 second ultiku duk.
Lama lagi settle by main 40 saat men.
Okey, aku farm dulu lah.
Ya, pam dulu men.
Aku memilih untuk menempuh jalan sendirian.
Kalau ada
Dorang takkan ragu sudah.
Sakitnya.
Ya saya duk. Boleh pakai kamu.
Mati lah.
Bangkit.
Oh, kenapa di depan?
Pilasi lah dia. Tiku.
Aku datang.
Aduh.
Allah Akbar.
Orang cantik. Aduh, Lasi tadi dia punya carry tu. Sayangnya.
Macam ni.
Aku pancingan pia.
Pancingan apa bot?
Patutnya kopi belakang.
Mari datang boleh.
Jaga aku tak. Ni aku boleh retry nanti. Tapi dia apa ni lah? Tak payahlah.
Kopi pam jalan los.
Okey.
Dari sisiku yang fat tu. Nampak tak?
Beli rom.
Mak jemah.
Ambil apa?
Beli rom hill.
Kira.
Kau ambil pam lah dulu di bawah los. Aku main mid sudah los.
Nah, aku ambil blue
Kau
gua.
ambil pam juga di bottom ah.
Lagi pergi betul.
Kita orang lagi rank ni guys. Kita orang sama.
Tu jumpa enemy samut. Itu lah.
Orang langgar kita tu sebenarnya ni.
So aku dah ulti.
Ringan bagikan bulu.
Ambil
Aku tengok mainan dorong dulu. Kalau pecah pada gambarnya aku penalty zone los.
Okey.
Jangan kasih muka aku ya.
Dah.
Oh iya, tak boleh lari ke ni. Paksa dia ulti.
Tarian pedang.
Aduh, dia flicker lah.
Mana aku punya ni? Dah aku mana? Bak ke apa?
Weh, tolong limit, jom.
Pergi dulu cari batang. Dah aku hilang lah.
Jadi so aku ada.
Pipa.
belakang.
Pipa.
Karinya.
Weh, keras dia kau, Sicilian.
Pipa.
Mati badu orang men.
Pipa.
Tidak bisa berbahasa Inggris tuan.
Dia siap lollipop ke? Iyalah.
Ibu patutlah sebut istighfar.
Patutlah dia keras.
Pecah pira garamnya men. Bagi los.
Oh cabut. Aku tak ada ni. Nyawa.
Tak kena
Habis sebab satu kali jalan.
Tak kena aku selesai dia lari tu.
Ada ulti muka Pia?
Ada.
Aku ada ulti ni.
Jangan.
Ini blue buff-nya men.
Jom, kita jangan bagi dia ambil.
Korang pergi tadi troll je guys. Korang serius pula. Aduh.
10 dari Alisha.
Aisyah!
Adik saya dia fans
Happy birthday!
Bisikan pedang.
Adik Alisha.
Ini di bawah men towernya.
Semoga sihat selalu
Kita muka aku begini ya.
Yalah, saya tahulah.
Ambil tawarnya los. Aku zone los.
Mau kan minumnya ni, mau kan?
Ada turtle men.
Sudah habis men.
An ally has slain.
Sabar men, tunggu bah. Mau ada si Ciku baru kita damage banyak men.
Kita ambil semua hutan dia. Yang bagi dia.
Jangan bagi dia duk. Dia skor langsung dulu kasih PKP dulu.
PKP.
Bagi dia PKP.
Dia pipa. Ya ampun guys.
Aku ada plikal sini men.
Aku pun
Apa
ada
nak buat,
aplikasi men.
Cek kasut dulu lah.
Kontak back kita.
Iya dok, tak payah lalu. Kita ambil pulang saja men.
Obsesi.
Ambil
Tak apalah.
jam semua men.
Tunggulah apa itu. Kita tunggu lock lah keluar.
Iya,
Kan?
perform siapa men?
Ok, salam secret.
Aku pergi passive mid dulu.
Iya dok, bagi pesimis betul. Kalau ada yang anu kok aku terus lompatkan dia.
Kau tidak bisa menghindari
Passive mid.
Aku dah alti nak megaru.
Ada.
Kenapa aku pihak tu dia aku romer.
Memang lah. Bagi kita punya ni.
dengarlah bisikan pedangku.
Bagi kita punya ni yang
Dia lain dapat XP.
Yes dah.
Okey dah.
Waduh, flicker lagi dia dok. Kalau otak lah.
Pedangku tidak meninggal.
Pipa. Wow, sini lagi. Rata. Mau sini what? Mau sini. Ayo sini mati ni.
Aduh.
Sudah.
Weh, kenapa aku tak lari atas? Aku tak mendapat kill tadi. Aduh, sayangnya.
Sini.
Tak ada orang TB lah.
Lari dok.
Baik, boleh. Ilba bo.
Sabar abang. Cool down dulu.
Bunyi apa lah tu?
Ilma. Nak mau hidup.
Hilba po.
Tak ada orang TB los. Tak ada. Tak perasan aku tak saya lari ke atas tadi. Boleh dapat kill lagi tadi.
Boleh. Aku boleh.
Jangan. Dolot.
Aku dorong coba mau tangkap lah men.
Saya dengar bunyi gerudi lah guys. Korang dengar?
Malut pak men, boleh betul men.
Marilah.
Otak dia guys mau mampus ya bodoh.
Aku ambil buff sekejap lah lalang.
Aku dengan Angela nyawa sikit tu.
Menyatu dengan angin.
Aku boleh buka men.
Gila yang cikgu.
Oh, sakitnya si Ciku sudah. Dia buka sudah ultinya dok.
Buka dok. Boleh
Boleh pak men. Mau lot nih.
Kita
orang lemah.
Jom. Main terus.
Mari masuk.
Nah, lot orang lama dia bilang. Kita masuk men. Kita men. Budak-budak tu. Pipa tu.
Saya kasih dia.
Kita kasih dulu. Kill dulu boleh. Okey, kill dulu.
Aduh. Macam tu yang kita mati.
Sudah.
Thank you. Sintek kacap.
Selesai.
Let's go.
Oh, siapa main gerudi sebelah aku ni?
Okey.
Salah.
Okay, abang interview buat
Bot, interview bot.
Interview ya.
Ah, ada orang tengah gerudi ya ni.
Solos bisa interview tak?
Bisa.
Los.
Ambil on cam jangan lupa Solos.
Apa? Buka facecam
Iya, buka facecam ya.
Di Discord ya?
Di chit chat itu.
di
Apa?
Vmake.
Okey. Kena hantar link lah, hantar link.
Dah hantar tu dekat atas tu.
Sudah di chit chat itu.
Chat Oh, okey.
Let's go.
Kejap. Aku nak tengok orang gerudi ni.
Kita jumpa 29 hari bulan dok. Minggu depan dok kita main lagi dok.
Minggu depan lagi dok.
Minggu depan kah? Wih, lama lagi dong.
Minggu depan dong main.
Alhamdulillah, Juni dok.
Lama lagi dong. Terima kasih
kalau udah
Simi-Sami,
join,
salam
kasih tahu
PS,
aku ya.
semoga maju jaya.
Yuk lagi.
Makasih Bang Simi-Sami.
Boleh dia setup
main juga.
Arigatou gozaimasu.
Alhamdulillah, terima kasih.
Semoga maju jaya Bang.
Solos interview men, solos interview men.
Achiko, Fami.
Jadi kita nih mau gas atau stop?
Main nak tengah interview. Dekat Solos punya kat Solos punya
Dekat gila Mobile Legends saya muai.
ni guys saya tunjuk orang.
Sekejap macam mana aku nak kena
Mobile Legends saya
deaktif
muai
ni
dok.
Kita boleh tengok kah?
Sekejap ke?
Tengok interview masuk. Macam mana mau tengok interview men?
Kita mau tengok
Ni
interview
tulis
dulu.
guys.
Okey. Ya.
Boleh Mobile
Dah
Legends.
join.
Sekejap Sekejap tengah nak masuk.
TikTok MLB next tak ya?
Lepas tu kalau tengok
Lepas tu pergi sini. Name.
Kalau kalian yang main boleh sambil mute dulu Discord-nya, tak apa guys.
Okey.
Tak apa. Biar aku bisa ngomong sama Solos, oke? Sambil denger aku ya.
Ni guys.
Jangan di defend.
Ni guys.
Tak boleh tengok lah men.
Aku gerak dulu dok. Anak aku dah naik dok.
Solos info aku ya.
Ya. Bentar.
Tak boleh tengok lah men.
Salah. Kamera ni kejap aku setting dulu. Sebentar.
Biarin dulu, So main lagi ke warpat tu. Iya men.
Biasa tuh kalau lawan link yang ngepanis tuh enggak jungle-nya, tank jungle. Berarti dari
Mana Solos?
Sebentar. Tengah setting kamera.
Jungle-nya enggak bisa panis, dan enggak bisa panis ya bebas.
Tapi udah masuk kan?
Sudah. Sini aku nak setting
Tapi karena ada Sky jadi item keduanya gue sama kayak gini.
Aku tak tahu Bot.
BOD bos. Itu baru link. Gue suka banget link BOD.
Ini aku lah nampak kau nih Solos. Coba.
Gila, tapi aku salah setting kamera ni. Salah bukan kamera ni.
JGL gue penasaran apa sih squad apa sih?
Seven granat launcher. Bukan ya?
Enggak dong.
Oh,
Macam ni VMix nak setting kamera Bot? Aku pakai kamera lain ni.
Dia
Kau kena off. Kau punya kamera dekat ni Los.
Dah, aku dah deaktif lah.
Menurut gue mid kayak
Los tu kau pilih lah kamera macam biasa. Pilih kamera yang kau pakai tu.
Udah, aku refresh balik
Ya udah gitu, lu masih bisa main dengan rotasinya. Dan kalau misalkan roamer baru beda. Gua kalau roamer
pergi kat permission kamera kan.
Kecuali gua enggak ada komboan. Tapi kalau enggak ada komboan ngapain pick Angel lah?
Bang, bentar baru aku refresh bang.
Aduh. Baru ke arah foto tergantung apa yang dibutuhkan.
GL tuh
Kaget gua anjing. Enggak, gua kira udah dilempar soalnya
ada gang senggol enggak sih?
Tapi ya
dia masih setting kamera
di
katanya.
setiap kelurahan itu ada gang masjid.
Benar.
Iya gang.
Oh, dia tak mau pun Bot.
Ya kan?
Gang apa?
Mana Solos?
Gang langgar.
Sebentar bang, sebentar.
Ini kan todak langgar ininya. Tabrak langgar tuh tabrak kan?
Kalau bisa pakai kamera tuh juga tak apa.
Boleh lah.
Oh, ini.
Boleh lah ya.
Boleh.
Oke. Standby ya.
Oke.
Oke, thank you Solos.
Ya.
Oh, talentnya.
Iya, talent manajemen. Gitu.
Pantesan. Kayaknya main Twitter.
Dia tuh bagian talentnya.
Oh,
iya, saya baru pantesan 7GL ini.
Iya, itu banyak kan ternyata.
Bot.
Banyak ternyata. Tapi sepertinya kita akan ada interview kepada pemenang kita, kepada teman-teman dari Dark System nih. Siapa ya?
Kemarin kan udah Ciku ya.
Kemarin Ciku.
Sekarang siapa?
Oh, teman-teman Dark System. Ya. Betul.
Halo Bang Solos.
Halo Bang, halo.
Gimana kabar Bang Solos?
Sehat.
Asik.
Wah, gimana nih Bang? Kayak tadi game 1 kok bisa kalah?
Iya.
Oh, game 1 tadi apanya enemy power lah. Jadi bila kita dah kalah kan, kita baru nampak kita boleh tukar-tukar strategi sikit macam tu lah.
Oh, tukar strategi. Tapi mengerikan itukah Tegar dengan Tigrealnya?
Ya, seram.
Seram kali.
Seram. Sampai chat penuh semua suruh ban Tigreal. Seram kali.
Sambil draft mereka bilang ban Tigreal. Suggest Bang Solos. Bang Solos ini kan user assassin ya.
Ya.
Gimana sih pendapat Bang Solos nih untuk assassin di patch sekarang?
Patch baru best lah sebab ada itu item Sky Piece kan. Jadi kalau bagi saya kalau awal game dapat snowball, jadi senang lah nak execute untuk early game lah. Jadi maybe untuk user assassin kan, mungkin meta assassin kot is back kot.
Oke, Metastasis back.
Tapi aku mau tanya nih. Kemarin aku sempat interview kan bareng sama Ripo.
Ya?
Dia bilang katanya pengen ketemu sama tim kalian karena katanya fix takut sama kamu. Kenapa?
Mungkin Ciku, sebab Ciku.
Oh,
enggak,
no. Kemarin kita udah interview Ciku, bilang katanya fix emang takut sama Solos.
Bukan, dia takut sama Ciku. Ciku golin,
gitu.
fix golin. Sama Lin.
Tapi kalau seandainya ketemu nanti ya, ada pesan nggak untuk teman-teman dari timnya Ripo?
Any message?
Any message lah. So, good luck, have fun untuk tim Ripo sebab dalam tim Ripo ada satu gadis bernama Dibo. So, dia akan bertemu dengan Obot. Jadi diorang, jadi Obot dengan Dibo ni lover.
Wah, ini one last message lah untuk Fix yang emang katanya dari mereka udah bilang takut nih Fix sama Solos. Ada gak spesial?
Oke, Fix. Jangan takut Fix. Ciku pun manusia juga, makan nasi juga. Jangan takut. Macam message je.
Oke. So thank you so much untuk waktunya ya dari Bang Solo. Semoga kita bisa ketemu lagi nanti.
Sehat selalu Bang Solo.
Sehat selalu juga.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Ini ya, creator.
Seru ya.
Insight.
Hello. Semua dah keluar ke? Semua mute pula ni. Macam mana ni? Bong. Bong.
Halo.
Apa buat, Bong?
Aku tengah tengok interview mu, lucu je.
Oi, lepak bos. Aku dah ada orang tengah grudi belakang aku ni. Aku tak tahu yang mana yang...
Aku dengar orang tengah bor lagi.
Ada orang grudi lagi belakang aku. Aduh, time-time gini. Woi, maghrib dia pergi drillnya. Macam mana?
Siapa yang
aku tak tahulah jiran aku ni. Time-time gini pula dia nak pergi drill kan. Macam mana, friend? Ni kau tengah tengok ni ke? Bong, ada game lagi?
Lepas ni?
Tak, apa ni ada tak game-game tournament?
Ada.
Apa?
ESL.
ESF. Apa benda tak? ESF, ada tak?
Team Liquid Rebellion.
Weh, jomlah aku nak tengok dulu lah. Sambil-sambil boleh aku pergi maghrib ni.
Ya, aku pun baru maghrib ni.
Boy, tak relate Dia lepak man, dia punya grudi je ni. Pakai otak Daripada last
aku bunyi.
Iya, diorang pun dengar. Aku rasa orang dekat dalam live stream mesti dengar bunyi apa tu lo. Aku pun tak tahu tadi. Apa pihak?
Kamu masih gas kah?
Enggak, ayo tengok nobar lah kali.
Oh, nobar kah? Kamu nobar?
Iya.
Woi, time gini dia main grudi. Tak lah aku tengah interview.
Aku belum maghrib lagi. Maghrib dulu guys ya.
Kau tengok kat mana pun nak tulis apa?
Aku tengok di TikTok lo laju. Lemon ya.
Okey, aku buka kat TT. Tapi aku lah dekat TT pun tak apa ke, Bong? Bong? Oh, Bong. Hilang dah. Guys, saya nak pergi maghrib jap. Jadi saya nak buka live tournament jap. Kalau korang nak off apa semua boleh guys. Let's see lah kalau saya kena warning ke dekat TT kan lah. Korang nak tengok sama mungkin boleh tengok dekat YT lah. Sekejap mana ada Bong? Kau macam karya aku je. Lover ke lo? Lover. Saya tak tahu nak cakap apa guys. Cakap je lah guys. Apa yang best. Wah. Dia macam grudi perut aku. Rasanya. Saya rasa orang atas ni.
Was down and now new master
Sekejap Kuat dengar tu lo. Kuat lah. Gentle. Tak tipu. Kuat betul saya dengar ni. Gerak. Macam tu je dia buat. Ombok. Oh. Alah, ombong. Dah habis lah, Bong.
Ya,
pada awalnya team fight banyak dimenangi oleh TLPH dan JP mendapatkan kill first blood yang cukup awal, seawal sebelum minit yang pertama. Dan diteruskan lagi apabila Swelo dapatkan Fade Strike, Swelo dapatkan Black Dragon Form dan digunakan untuk menindakkan sedikit sebanyak penggunaan.
Tengok IESF lah.
It was looking quite good on stuff, man. I mean, for us personally, there's stakes as
Kuatnya ada bergudi ni. Geramnya aku. Dia macam kuat kita punya gigi tu. Snapdragon pun dah habis kan, tapi kita tengok game IESF Malaysia lawan Indonesia tadi. Layan juga. Alright guys, saya pergi maghrib dulu
Okay, so the expert going to be going to XP, and it seems for the Edith, it should be, on the hands of Keyboy. There we go. We get to see the swaps as well as we get ready to jump into the land of Dawn. But Arashi, you're the analyst here. I gotta ask you, based on the draft, what do you think? Especially after the patch changes, right? Do you think Indonesia have adjusted to the patch better, or do you think that Roger Jungle is going to be too much for Indonesia?
I think honestly, Roger Jungle is. It works differently now due to the changes, the patch, of course. But in a way, it's something a bit more familiar. And now for Indonesia, I think the fact that they have solid front line and then have a lot more AoE and potential. Usually, whenever we see this roster with something this flexible, even though maybe they initially can be overwhelmed or they can start losing in some kind of fight, some kind of pick-up potential, they can eventually recover and adapt. So I gotta kind of favor them in my predictions here, Indonesia.
All right. Seems we're just going to jump straight into game number 1. Ladies and gentlemen, Indonesia takes on Malaysia. Type in the live chat right now who you guys think is going to win. Hashtag Indonesia win or Malaysia win in the comment section down below as we get to see the jungle. Albert versus Skies. Roger versus Fredrin. Also, Temporal Rain for Albert. Whoa, interesting. The new emblem on the Fredrin. We don't get to see this a lot, by the way.
Temporal Rain. Having a shorter, like a cooldown reduction effect on your skills when you use your ultimate. I guess he's intending to spam it out while farming in the jungle. Fredrins do that, but we'll have to see how effective this is because it takes away from some of his combat potential, especially pre-level 4. But Keyboy, as you can see, already diligently protecting the jungle, making sure that so far no real big plays are happening. But especially with the low Yi, I expect Indonesia to really start ramping up the aggression, particularly right now.
And I love the fact that right now, oh, that's an onward by Keyboy, just doing some damage over to Yums there, poking him down. But I like the fact that a lot of the fighters in the XP lane, they're just going for Impure Rage now over the Brave Smite. I think it's because of the change to the War Axe. Now you technically have the Bloodlust Axe built in already, so you already get the sustain from the War Axe, right? So you can just go for even more sustain with the Impure Rage if you don't have mana, but if you have mana, then you can just stay in lane a lot more while also using your abilities to get the War Axe sustain off.
The sustain coming in from the War Axe makes that item, in the same way the Glowing Wand is just so valuable right now for the mid lane, that War Axe now is just so good. I was expecting a lot more fighters to show up, but Lutpi now getting focused down by Stormy who rotates, but now you can see the follow-up coming in, and whoever clears the way faster here will get level 4, and that will be Malaysia for now. But you can see that for both teams, they're taking this very slow. They don't want to be the first main aggressor to get punished. But here now, the big value from Indonesia really shows the fact that their jungler is a fighter that can't be zoned as easily. But look at this, Stormy.
Stormy goes up for stun. Good purify from Sans. Getting out of it now as Yums cannot go for the wild charge. Not just yet. Is still level 3. Hovering over, but finally gets level 4. As Keyboy now looks for a wild charge and Afflictor combo into the back with the penalty zone as well. And Lock Lippy down. But Keyboy does the same with the Earth Shatter and the onward. As that's going to be the Praisers Rapid. Gorgeous wins out the retry battle. It's not the jungler. It's the XP laner. Gorgeous though will fall and Yums will be forced back. It's a 1-for-1 trade and Keyboy wants to make it 2-for-1. But in the end, it's a win for Team Malaysia early.
Wow, it's just how we expected, man. Indonesia and Malaysia, there is always going to be fireworks, gonna be chaos. At first total take, usually we see something a bit more disciplined for these rosters, but when it comes down to it, it was just an all-out brawl. And like you mentioned, Miracle CW with the sky-piercing abuse coming in.
That's an SPA right there. CW, he's just like me, you know, he loves to abuse that Sky Pure, so we got a replay.
That's this turtle fight right here where Malaysia just barreled through and they're kind of holding back Indonesia. And in the midst of everything, Gojes, out of everyone, was the one to secure that turtle. So small win for Malaysia, but overall, it's still a very, very slow game. But Malaysia is doing a great job just staving off the aggression and the level 2 power spike technically from the Lo Yi. So we're gonna have to wait a bit longer to see some kind of big play, but Gojes getting roasted here in the lane.
Yeah, forced to recall now as Litpi gets so much more space to pick up the turret shield. And he'll actually just be going for both. He's letting the minion waves go for the turret shield, getting him down. Now in the mid lane, it's going to be Keyboy frozen up, and that should be the kill for Skies as he's able to deal with Keyboy just through that stun. And also a Spear of Destruction that's going to be used up just for the damage. He won't teleport there, he'll just stay in lane.
Great play here for Malaysia, picking up a kill. But on the bottom side, you can see the rotations coming in. They're trying to make sure they get as much advantage as possible, especially when they have control over the map before the diversions coming in from Indonesia will start to be an issue. You can see that they respect the potential of ganks as well, because Lolio with the Purify is going to be a lot more difficult to really pick off, even though CW is on the Brody that can facilitate some of these ganks.
Okay, set up for the second turtle now. Litpi doing the same thing he's been doing to Gojes up top, just roasting him down. But Skies is rotating up top, trying to deal with the Faraga armor. Actually jumps in as the War Axe gets completed by Gojes. Keyboy with Earth Shatter, going to zone Stormy away from this turtle. But look at the barrier there placed down. Albert won't be able to take full aggro on it. Gojes gets taunted up, goes in for the penalty zone, connects on the Litpi. They're retry battle, and it's not going to be any of the junglers winning it out. Look at this! Look at the damage coming from Stormy and the CC, as that's going to be him taken down. But Stormy now running away with the passive. Gojes flickering forward to find Litpi as Keyboy deals with Skies in the Primal Wrath, and CW rotates from the bottom lane, but will give out so much more prio in the bot towards Lolio. Spear of Destruction connecting on the CW as Yums gets taken very low, but is still able to survive, and Lolio decides to go in. That's a stun on the CW, and now with the Lycan bounce, they're able to get the kill. CW force back, and Sans is able to get a few more of these trades on, but in the end, it's an all-out win for Malaysia.
What a great play for Malaysia there. They were able to focus down the targets even more efficiently than Indonesia and still get the global presence play. And look at that though, fight still breaking out all over the place. Lolio coming in with the Spear of Destruction earlier was just an absolute win. He knows his team was still in the fight, was still having the advantage. He joins in and just shuts down CW in that fight as well. And just off screen there, Yums was able to find yet another kill. So it was the turtle taken away, it was the bottom tower taken as well. Malaysia here is pushing on the pace on Indonesia.
Doing a great job so far. Look at the goalie, 2,000 almost to the hands of Malaysia on this composition that honestly, yes, can snowball as well, but you would think, especially with the Moskov, that they would actually wait a bit longer to get you know, that power spike, right? And the Moskov, yeah, it hasn't hit his power spike, not just yet, it's just a corrosion scythe.
I think it's just a great play by them to just use the early game power spike. You can see a Sky Piercer completed for Skies as well on the Roger. So a bit of that execute threat for the members of Indonesia. And as we mentioned, Gojes with the War Axe, he was already doing so much damage, being so tanky early on. And right there, steal attempt as Albert tries to retaliate.
Good wild charge to escape. Albert now jumping forward. That's Razor's Wrath dealing a whole lot of damage to Stormy, but he gets frozen down. Penalty zone to lock them down, not really giving Indonesia a chance to take Stormy out. Meanwhile, all in the top lane, you can see Lolio just dealing with the minion waves, now shoving in Albert, looking for a play again onto Yums. That's going to be an onward and an Earth Shatter combo to take him out, and Indonesia finally get a trade that's worthwhile, but it's not going to be worthwhile for long. That's a turret traded up top for the kill on the roamer.
This is just Malaysia using this macro plan so well. The fact that they can send a gold laner to just keep farming again and again and join these fights from so far away is giving them so much more space. And as a result, you can see that Indonesia, they do have damage, but they're struggling to lock down and find pickups, because even the roamer that's supposed to open up the map for the side of Malaysia, it's a Grok that's just so difficult to really lock down. Diversion though from Indonesia, can it pay off?
Yeah, straight into the bottom lane they go. They tried to just get that position, and they will be able to get that over Malaysia. They set up for the turtle again. That's going to be an onward, and the Earth Shatter locking Yums down as Litpi deals with that damage. Oh my god, the dispersion and the rotation almost takes Yums down. Litpi will be able to burn him down to the ground, and that should be a free turtle over to Indonesia, as Malaysia just look to trade on the other side of the map. Moskov still just farming.
It's a great play for Indonesia to just decisively go for it. And if Malaysia obliges, they seem to be in position to go for a fight. But knowing that Lolio is usually a bit further away, penalty zone though from Gorgeous.
Yeah, with the Flicker comboed in together. Now when Spirit Destruction goes in as well, Gorgeous might be caught in the sword of our memory as they go for the diversion. And Stormy committed the Flicker as she used the ultimate too, trying to catch some of these members. Indonesia able to bait out some big resources.
The diversion set up inside the bush. Crafty stuff here from Indonesia, but their troubles are still around. They haven't been able to use a lot of these diversion plays because they don't have control over the map overall. Just because Yums has been aggressively contesting vision and information, and Keyboy on the Edith is just not as mobile. Not a lot of ways for him to really escape from a full-on chase. So he's just forced to play a bit more conservatively. And right now, though, you're seeing that possibly the top lane turret might fall right there. Lutfi is one of the only members that can just keep pushing while having a guaranteed way out from a surprise gank from Malaysia.
And so far, no turrets have been taken down by Indonesia. It's still an equal game based on gold, but Malaysia definitely have much more of an advantage coming into the 9th minute of the game. Albert dashing forward, catching Stormy now with the taunt as well. Keyboy gonna be able to isolate him with the onward, and the Earth Shatter is timed to perfection. Just to that passive, as now Stormy has been picked off. Yums in the mid lane, tries to walk up, and now gets the Spurs rotated as well, forced to flicker out, and now they're looking to go for this turret in the mid lane. Penalty zone, lock them down, diversion to escape once again, and Indonesia only one member decides to take it, and it's Keyboy to go and take and those resources, those minion waves that have been shoved in by Lolio in the bottom lane.
And that's what you've been seeing from Indonesia, man. They're using these diversions to really match the macro play from Malaysia, not really to initiate their own pickoffs. Sans here though, getting caught by Skies.
Yeah, feeling a bit of damage, but Lutfi is able to fend for Sans.
Great play from Malaysia there. Just going for these flanks, knowing that they have control. That is what Indonesia, ironically, need to do as well. When they're able to locate Stormy in the middle of those fights, I think they have to try and do that, unless they want to just go for a fight and allow Stormy to just keep pumping out this damage. That's the mage presence we've been talking about just earlier. With the Lord spawning though, we already talked about the damage, the extra damage that it does now. You can see that Indonesia are very calm about this though. Still going around, still waiting around because they know they have a diversion play available. Take a look at the items. Queen's Wings rush for Lutfi to try and be a bit more relevant, but Albert gets jumped on.
Yeah, they go for the diversion now, but Albert is going to be taken down. The Frigid Glacier as well as the onward from Keyboy gets into the Frigid Glacier. Yums will be taken down by that sky-piercing damage of CW as the Primal Wrath gets used up by Keyboy. Now trying to steal some damage on the Gorgeous, and the Torn Apart Memory gets rid of him. That's going to be a stun on the Skies, but now with the Lycan Pound, CW will be shut down as Keyboy flickers forward, but is unable to find anyone, and now uses the onward just to disengage. It's a 2 for 2, but it's in favor of Malaysia. Both or all three of their damage dealers are still alive.
All damage dealers alive, but they have no front line. They'll be forced to play a bit more conservatively right here, but no, never mind. They go for Lutfi, but he does have the Firaga. He might get taken out though. Whew.
No, he gets out with the flicker. Almost taken out. Yeah, Lolio is definitely pushing the pace now. And I think at the 11th minute, he already has his power spike as they go straight for the Lord now. Indonesia, they need to try to contest this right now. The goal lead is still 50-50. Stormy, oh, Frigid Glacier gonna be baited out, and that's gonna be the knockup from the Lord, revealing Yums. Keyboy with the Earth Shatter, not really gonna be using flicker. Wild charge into the back, catching Albert to stop any sort of retreat play from happening. Keyboy with the onward and the Earth Shatter, and Calvin Winata, CW, will be able to pick Gorgeous up. It's a 1-for-1, a kill for a Lord.
Definitely still value for Malaysia though, and immediately everyone scrambles into position to try and manage the minion waves. That was a great play for them to just go straight at it, knowing that they have the crowd control advantage. But they have to be a bit more wary now, especially if they want to go for a prolonged team fight, because we saw in the two fights, the fight before the Lord was taken there, Keyboy on the Edith now is doing quite a significant amount of damage. So you can see Lolio early getting dueled by him. They have to be a bit more careful on the positioning and who takes what damage. But look at this wall charge.
Good wall charge to catch CW, and a diversion does get them up top now as the Spirit of Destruction is in the bottom lane. Lolio will be able to rotate over, but look at that. Keyboy gets isolated completely from the team. The team is basically left him all alone in the bottom lane. And it's going to be Malaysia with the capitalization. Lutpi still kiting away from this Lord as Sans deals some damage back on the Lord. And now it's going to be Stormy with the flicker forward, catching CW with the Frigid Glacier, and Skies looks for it, but now Skies will be outplayed with the stun by CW as he buys the Rose Gold Meteor, and Indonesia will still be able to defend. Not even a tier 2 in the mid lane falling just yet.
That was a respectable outplay attempt though by Diversion. Now going on to Lolio.
Going for the fight again. Penalty zone catching 2, and CW is going to be compromised. Now with a wild charge 2, it's going to be Sans and CW locked down, with Sans get a bit of that damage. The Spear of Destruction connects, and Calvin Winata will be taken now. Lutpi still roasting in the back as Albert gets slain. Lolly is going crazy with a double kill now as he's looking for Lutpi. One more Abyss Walker to the front, but now the last Insanity gets rid of Gorgeous and Yums to claim another few kills for Indonesia.
Hello guys, saya rasa saya live dulu Saya tak boleh nak live Aduh, Grudi Nanti ganggu mungkin dah habis Grudi ni saya live balik
It's starting to get equalized.
Saya pun tak tahu lah ni bila dia nak habis Grudi ni.
Seems to be still winning, especially when it comes to the structures and the map control. But this goal has to be a concern for them. Now that Indonesia has a lot of spammable abilities in the late game. If they can go for a proper fight without any surprises coming in from Malaysia, it's going to be quite dangerous for them. If you take a look at the damage dealt, the highest damage dealer is actually Lutpi, who is relatively ignored, so he's just flaming everyone down. But on the other side, Gorgeous, who is supposedly a frontliner, is just doing an insane amount here on this Terizla. That is definitely something that Indonesia will struggle to try and deal with, because their main damage dealer, Calvin Winata, has a bit more of a burst style of a hero, so it doesn't really shred through this Terizla as easily.
And slowly but surely, it does seem like Malaysia are outscaling Indonesia, right? Wild charge again into the penalty zone. Keyboy still going to be able to flicker out of that, and that's 2 big ultimates used up for the flicker. Who gets more value out of that trade, Arashi?
Considering that the Lord is just up right here, I think Indonesia technically has a bit more value to be taken, unless they can't really get forced to go for the Lord because of the macro play. The bottom wave getting pushed out. Diversion is available for Suns to bring CW into the fight, but we'll have to see how Indonesia wants to play this.
Okay, Lutpi in the front trying to zone them away now on that X-Borg. Sans gets the conceal of Keyboy to go back into the mid lane to clear this wave, and he will be able to do so. Athena's shield now bought up by Keyboy, so a little bit more sustainable in the skirmish. As Albert, you can see that the Lord Dance is not as good as it was before, as the Lord takes so much of your HP away. Albert is down to a quarter of his HP, and now it's Lutpi who's trying to take the turtle or the Lord aggro. And again, so much damage already outputted by the Lord. This new change is definitely changing a few, dynamics in the game. The Lord Dance is so much harder to do. Oh, Keyboy, onward, and Earth Shatter right into that Frigid Glacier. They're all going to be baited into CW. Now in the back, it's going to be Sans who gets taken down by Loliel. CW gets some damage down with Wooden Nature. Will be able to save him, and Loliel gets the outplay onto CW. Lutpi's next to the chopping block. The Spear of Destruction connects, and Loliel teleports behind him. The Faraga armor still ready. He will use it to just clear up the wave in the mid lane, but he will not be able to do so. One more cannon minion. They might be able to utilize all of this to go for the game end in game number 1. Just one cannon minion, one more hit to the cannon minion, but it'll be enough for Team Malaysia to secure game number 1.
What a performance, man. That final fight was a complete wipe from the side of Malaysia. Indonesia, unable to do anything, outplayed at every turn. Who would have expected, man? Malaysia just striking first, pushing Indonesia on the back foot.
And it's with Loliel too, right? The guy we were talking about how Loliel is completely different, how he plays to Innocent, the usual lineup for SRG for this team for Malaysia, and Gorgeous as well in place of Cram for SRG for the representatives of Malaysia. And you can see that with Gorgeous, with Loliel, they're still able to be an absolute menace in the land of Dawn. And I think we saw it there, the fact that Loliel was able to completely outplay CW. CW didn't go for the win of nature, not at all, Rashi. Do you think that was a bit of like a bad decision that CW made to not go for the win of nature going up against a Roger and a Moskov? Because he did go for the Rose Gold Meteor. I definitely get that. Stormy was dealing a whole lot of damage, and that Frigid Glacier is annoying to deal with. But also, that physical damage in the end was what killed him, right? It was the Moskov who was chasing him.
I think it was really banking on the positioning to really avoid that. But against a Moskov, you never really know, right? this was the fight earlier where I was talking about how Keyboy was able to do a lot of damage, but overall, with so much crowd control, so much ways for Malaysia to really deny Indonesia a favorable fight, the penalty zone, the wild charges, the glacier coming in from Stormy as well, you can see that whenever a fight breaks out, they're using these tools not to go for a combo, but to split apart the composition, the formation of Indonesia. And when their vulnerable members are left behind like this, like CW is caught out of nowhere, it makes it very difficult for Indonesia to get a lot of winning fights, a lot of winning situations where they can just stay protected and output that damage. Whereas for Malaysia, especially for Lolio, he has the Purify, he can be a bit more mobile in these fights, more self-protection, and Stormy has the passive on top of his own crowd control so that he can actually match his own when it comes to these very messy fights. So Indonesia, we're trying to use this diversion to really try and get a favorable circumstance to start these fights, but aside from some particular moments, for the most part, Malaysia just had their number, man.
All throughout the fights, I think we could definitely say that, right? I think a few of the misplays definitely did happen as well, because for CW here, he was dealing a lot of damage on the Gojes, but he decided to isolate himself from the team, and it kind of left him very, very vulnerable for Skies to just take him out. And again, maybe he kind of miscalculated there, because maybe he thought, the Roger wasn't going to deal that much damage, but it's a 6-1 Roger, right? You've got to expect that at this point of the game. At the 12th minute as well, there were a lot of misplays being made by Indonesia, using the diversion and ending up kind of isolating Keyboy all the way. And here, both of the backliners, both of the damage dealers, it looked kind of good for some time, but then as Gojes kept on swinging that hammer, it just looked horrible. And especially considering Lolil was able to land the Spear of Destruction to participate in the skirmish, with Sans and CW already so low, Lolil just went to town.
It seems like Malaysia has completely adapted to the global threat coming in from the diversion. And even here, look at this, Sans just gets immediately like outplayed by Lolio's. Yeah. He's been great with the positioning, with the Sphere of Destructions, and his targeting, right? Knowing who to go for and when he has a window to really go for that isolation play.
And here as well, the final play, I think right after Sans gets taken out, they would have still been able to actually, fend off a little bit. But the fact that CW, again, Arashi, the question I asked you, no Wind of Nature, that has to be a question that we have to keep on asking to CW, right? Was that the right call? Because maybe if he did have the Wind of Nature, maybe he would have at least survived. I don't know if he would have been able to completely outplay the situation, but if he survived, the game would have definitely gone on to, later stages. But even then, it'll be kind of tough for Indonesia, right? That's kind of a snowballing comp that they have. They have an X-Work that is pretty good in the later stage of the game, but against the Moskov and a Roger, the two marksman combination, it just seems like the late game was already in favor of Malaysia all the way from the start of the game.
Yeah, they do have a lot more DPS options in the late game, but all things considered, I feel like Malaysia just had so many more playmaking tools. Whenever we talk about teams that are just so high level, it's all about the playmaking, right? Who can find those moments that can really change the game. And usually we always have our eyes glued on Keyboy for Indonesia. But in this game, he was completely shut down because for the most part, that Grok was just up in his face again and again. And if they want to jump on the Grok, there's just more playmaking tools layered over by Malaysia. So I have to say that this draft from Malaysia, I think was very, very solid. And for Indonesia, it seems like a very familiar draft to us, but we've been talking about how the drafts have been changing. And maybe now it's a time for them to really be pushed to the limit, to try and be forced to try and experiment and come up with something new.
For sure. I think maybe for Team Malaysia, they definitely got the read on the meta a bit better, right? The way that they were playing and their draft as well, their layering of CC was still just more efficient, definitely. Even though they left open the Loyi, the fact that the Loyi has been nerfed with the diversion, you can definitely see that in the game, right? For Indonesia, the way that we usually see it from Sans is he usually just spams that diversion every single time it's up, utilizing the cooldown that's already very short on that ultimate before the patch to constantly look for different angles. But now with the change, it does seem like they have to kind of like hold themselves off from using the diversion too much. They have to use the diversions in the right plays for the right time. And some of these times they were able to do so, but in the end, again, they still lost out on the team fight. Maybe that's the reason the Loyi was left open. Maybe the Loyi isn't, a crazy pick anymore. Maybe the Moskov is a bit more prio now. I don't know. Because technically for Malaysia, they were on blue side and they first picked the Roger, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, they first picked the Roger into the Grok and then the Moskov. So they started off with Roger, Grok, Moskov.
I think it's just the lore changes as well, makes it so that Lord dancing, holding the Lord like that is just so much more punishable. So for Malaysia, I think the Moskov in particular was just such a value pick because it's not just the damage output, it's also the macro. Having someone that can kind of outplay solo also is kind of secure, but can also join all these fights from so far away and push fast. It's almost like a whole package here for the Moskov that allowed them to really get an advantage and force Onyx, Indonesia, to be the one to really rush the neutral objectives. We saw that when they were able to do so with the turtle, I believe, one of the turtles earlier, they were able to get an advantage. But you can see that when it's a bit slower, when they have to wait around and play along and take some damage from that Lord, they immediately just felt that change and how punishing it was to just be forced into that spot.
Okay, Rashi, but I gotta hit you with the hard-hitting questions here now, right? I mean, yay or nay, Temporal Rain Fredrin?
Right, we haven't addressed that. I think for now, nay. I wasn't sure what the idea was. I know that Fredrin is a very
you gotta use your ult, right?
heavy hero, but yeah. So the thing is, it gives you a reduction when you use the ultimate.
Exactly.
So it's not like once you use it, you just keep getting reductions. It's like a one-time reduction, if I understand the tooltip correctly. So you use it once, you get value, and that's about it though. So technically in a short burst engagement, the Fredrin can get a bit more value, but overall with the back and forth, with the longer fights, I feel like an extra bit of damage, extra bit of healing maybe from the Impure Rage, or maybe even the faster clear speed with the Concussive Blast can be a bit more valuable than that.
I have to agree, man. I think for the Temporal Rain, it might have been a mistake. I don't know if Albert mistapped it, or maybe he actually thought, the Temporal Rain would be a great choice, but we've yet to see it, right? I really hope that we
that link, or we can see like an EXP laner that can really match that kind of pressure. So we have to see what Indonesia will go for. But they've renovated Terizla, so they recognize the how troublesome Gorgeous is for them to deal with, right? The big penalty zones, the sustainability, I think, more than anything, was just so annoying to deal with for Indonesia in game 1.
And I think for sure for Gorgeous, he definitely has a few different heroes to pick up as well. I mean, even if the Terizla gets banned out, maybe they can go for something like a Lapu Lapu as well, right? It's kind of the same idea. It's a playmaker. You want to go in with the bravest fighter to just enable for the team, and it's going to be the Julian ban actually from Team Malaysia. Maybe taking some data away from MPL ID, the grand finals and the playoffs there, with the Julian picked up by Fnatic Onyx, but it was a different player. It wasn't Albert, right? This can actually still pull in here in this game, or they might actually just be forced to go back to the utility. If they do go to utility around Rashi choice, would it just be for something like a fighter is alpha, but probably not alpha, right? There's not enough tanky members on the side of Malaysia to go for the alpha. But okay, that's a Cho ban actually, respecting Yums.
Okay, so to answer your question for the jungler, I don't know, man. I think it has to be some kind of utility jungle pick, because as you mentioned, if it's a damaging jungler, especially for the alpha, the true damage does get a bit quote-unquote wasted if it's put into this composition against this composition. So I think it's definitely something that can really help out with the layering of crowd control, because if Keyboy is going to be playing that Grok, we saw how effective it was for Malaysia, but only when there is other options that can be put in the back of the minds of Indonesia. And we're seeing a Loyi picked in the second phase. So they have the Ling, now they have the Loyi. Indonesia needs to respond with something, man. Something to deal with this macro threat.
And this time there's much more synergy for the Loyi, right? There's an Arlet and there's also a Claude. So technically with the Claude, you can utilize the diversion and put the battle mirror image behind you, and then you can go to a different lane and teleport back with the battle mirror image. That's been the combo that we've been seeing. But again, maybe with the new diversion cooldown, maybe you might not see that, but the Hayabusa with the Ruby gets locked in. That's the assassin that we were expecting, at least in game number 1, and Indonesia decide in game number 2, it's time to rock it. And it seems for Lutfi, he will be given that Ruby pick in the XP.
Man, Hayabusa in the hands of Albert? We haven't seen this in a while. There are, of course, ways to counter it, and especially in the 1v1s, I'm curious to see how this plays out, right? Hayabusa against the Ling. I think it becomes like a bit of a skill matchup. The Ling probably has more damage output without using the ultimate, I guess. But even with the ultimate, there is outplay here with the Tempest of Blades as well. So I think 1v1 isn't the idea here. It's about trying to find ways to get in the back line, or it's who can actually use their ultimate and then go for retribution when they're in that immune phase. We've talked about this somewhat a while back, Mirko, actually.
Okay, but it seems there's going to be a swap here in terms of the roam, at least, right? For the Grok and the Edith swapping sides from Indonesia to Malaysia, from Malaysia to Indonesia. Yums was on the Grok in game number 1. If you guys are just tuning in, and it is 1-0 to Malaysia right now. They have a chance to clean sweep Indonesia. But Arashi, let's take a look at the drafts again. What do you think? Who do you think has the better drafts? Is the Valentina Beatrix the way to go, and the Hayabusa as well?
Oh man, I feel like when it comes to the back and forth, I feel like now Indonesia has a bit more of an advantage actually. For Malaysia, I feel like they're the ones who are going to be forced to be a bit more decisive in how they want to move. If they go for a diversion play, or if they send the Arlet or the Edith a bit forward to try and threaten and engage, if they don't really get it, they can get punished very, very easily. So let's just get into the line of dawn for game number 2. Will Malaysia get a clean sweep, or will Indonesia push them into a full 3-game series? Ladies and gentlemen, game 2.
Let's see if the equalizer happens here, or if it's a clean sweep. But looking at the emblems, it does seem like it's already going to be a bit different here. No temporal rain this time around, at least not for Indonesia. I didn't get the chance to actually take a look at Malaysia. But okay, Hayabusa versus Ling. This matchup is definitely going to be an interesting one, right? Because on paper, I think if it's a pure 1v1, the Ling has a bit of an advantage. You can actually escape from the shadow kill while you're on the Tempest of Blades, and Sans and Stormy already going at it very early on. Seems Stormy will be able to get that win in the fights. Barrier, though, placed down by Keyboy. They might actually be looking to zone Stormy all the way back. They are successful at doing that. Straight into the lethal that they claim for themselves.
The early game Valentina play, and you always need to mention Sans when you're talking about the Valentina. It's just a different way he plays it, and he can be very creative with which ultimate he decides to really go for right here. So now Yums is still trying to do what he did in game 1, and going on to Albert.
Onward flicker now, and Albert going to be caught in the Tempest of Blades, and first blood over to Malaysia. Albert punished very early on, but Sans now with the flicker forward as well will be able to claim one. Sky's going to be next on the chopping block, but he's able to get into the Defiant Blaze, looking for another one. Finch Boys, and he gets out. Well played. The Skies, but CW somehow is able to get the kill. I think he didn't even use the flicker. He just walked up and gunned him down from the walls.
Shot down from the Sky. CW reading his escape patterns. Great communication from Indonesia to corral Seki's Skies to a death there, even though he made a clean escape. But Albert trying to make sure he keeps up with the farm. But look at Malaysia, man. They're just a lot more active. And now with the neutral objective already up, both teams going for a bit of a clear contest, but Indonesia will be able to clear out first.
That will mean that they will get level 4 first, but with Albert having no purple buff, I'm not even sure if they actually want to go for this contest this early on. Diversion already towards that bush there. Gojes will be able to get a very good position. Earth Shatter going to be used up, and not onto anyone. That's the turtle. Reset it again. Wild charge onto the back now with the Primal Rat stolen away. Sans dealing a whole lot of damage, and Gojes will be taken out. The Skies looks for the play. Yums with the Earth Shatter, knocking up Sans, but now Albert's going to be targeted down. As Albert will he be able to escape? Tempest of Blades knocks him up. Skies not able to get the last hit, but it's going to be the Primal Rat coming in from Yums, and it's an all-out win again for Malaysia. Skies gets out just barely there with 1 HP and secures the Sky Piercer too.
Oh man, Sky Piercer in the hands of this Ling. Definitely not ideal for Indonesia. It was going so well for them, but it almost seems like the engage was a bit too early. Keyboy went for the wild charge, and everyone kind of had to walk up a bit more to really follow up on it. That small window allows Malaysia to really come back and trade back the play. And you can see the Primal Rat damage is great in the hands of Sans, but you can't forget Yums can also deal a lot of damage there, as both teams actually are still taking this neutral objective very, very slow. It's like the fights are more important than the objective itself.
Well, they are two assassins, right? It is two assassins in the game. Maybe the neutral objective might not play as big of a role compared to the usual utility role. But Lutpi is the one who takes the turtle aggro. Flicker, final slash now committed only onto Lutpi. Those Yums pops into onward. Earth Shadow Flicker knocking Albert up. He does still have the quad shadow, and he does go in. Retreat battle going to be used up, as that's going to be Albert winning it out with the help of the wild charge, and now comes back onto Yums with the shadow kill. Sans picks up the kill, but it is going to be Keyboy that is traded in. Sky's already very low, and Sans is looking to go for that one last hit to take him down. But Skies will choose a defensive route. Lutpi still hovering over now onto Gorgeous. It does seem like for Indonesia, they will take that small win for the roamer, just traded for the kill. And Lutpi in the bottom lane. Perhaps a 1v1 here as Gorgeous goes in and blazing away up top. CW will be taken down. No, he's still able to survive for a bit. And there you go, the last few shots from Loliel to take CW down.
Fortunately for CW, though, he did clear the wave out, so he won't be losing out on any real any farm, EXP, and gold. But man, fights all across the map. Oh, Albert with the happy feet, but he's gonna get jumped on.
Okay, has the quad shadow to go all the way back, but the dispersion and the rotation will be able to catch him. Skies jumps in, the shadow kill is used up by Albert, and now gets caught with the Finch Poise as the wild charge only connects on a Stormy. The Tempest of Blades has been used to actually go at it. Stormy taken very low, still able to flicker out to safety as Lutpi will be caught. The final slash brings him back into the tier 1 turret, and he's able to get the 3-man I'm offended right into Sans, but the onward brings him back on the Skies to get the Defiant Blade. Now it's going to be Keyboy in the midst of it all. Caught Sans, still dealing a lot of damage, and the conceal will be used defensively. Sans the flicker as well, and gets 1 kill. No one traded in, and now it's gonna be Sans who gets shut down as well. Malaysia getting all the skirmish. Victory CW! What a good snipe with the Renner's apathy.
That was a diversion to go back to base or to rotate from Stormy, but that just painted a target on his back. CW capitalizing on it. Small victory to trade back, but overall, Malaysia does seem to have the control over this game, man. When they want to fight, they will get it. And Indonesia, you're seeing that they were just kind of lost on occasion. Even though Sans tries his best to really match it out, he has 4 kills in his pocket. But for the most part, we can see how difficult it is for him to chase down the members of Malaysia to finally get 1 or 2 kills in the midst of all these really long engagements.
And now it comes down to maybe how they utilize CW and Sans, because Albert, he's quite a bit behind, but actually in terms of level, he's not too far behind. He's still on the same level as Sky, as this Lutpi again takes the turtle aggro in the bottom lane. There's a diversion. Look for a flank on the Lutpi, and they go into Albert! Onward onto the Earth Shatter. Albert's still able to pop in the quad shadow in time as Lutpi goes into re-engage, wild charge, catching 2. But now, no full re-engage now as Gorgeous is going to be missing out of the final slash, and the shadow kill deals with him. Tempest of Blades on the Lutpi, but he's still able to escape, and Skies will be gunned down by Sans of the Primal Wrath, taking him out of that wall right there. Stormy very low. CW flickers forward, gets the gun down, and now it's Yums who's going to be sandwiched in the base, or in the turret, rather. Tier 1 down below. CW takes him out with a Bennett.
Look at Loliel, though, being active on the other side, even taking the mid turret down. It's a great win for Indonesia, but Malaysia gives nothing back for free. Wow. Taking away that mid turret will be very beneficial, especially with the diversions they've been trying to go for. It's unfortunate for them, though, that they got roped into that chase to try and secure Albert, because they kind of got stuck on Lutpi. That was able to just delay them for that much longer. Looking at the items, though, has claws on top of the Sky Piercer for Skies will mean that he can really hold his own in a longer, prolonged battle. But Loliel, 1 more item to go for the full-on power spike. That is what I think Malaysia will be definitely waiting for.
Slowly but surely, Indonesia building that gold lead back, but it's still just technically even, right? It's a 500 gold lead, still very insignificant despite the 2 turtles. But fun fact for you guys, this game, I guess we're only going to be getting 2 turtles, right? Usually, we're very used to just seeing 3 turtles with the utility jungle meta, but with the assassins, I guess 2 turtles is more of the norm. No one can really focus and commit down onto these neutral objectives, as Gorgeous actually uses the vengeance a bit aggressively onto Sans, and will be punished quite a bit with that glowing wand. But it's a Sky Piercer BOD start for CW. So, is he going to try to just look for these burst downs, look for these pickoffs? Is he playing with the Bennett more than the Renner? I'm not too sure, actually.
I think for Indonesia, the Wild Charge Bennett's Rage combo will be what you're looking at, and the execute will be great for any spell, but Gorgeous alone now.
Yeah, that's a 3-man final slash, but CW just guns him down. That Sky Piercer doing work. You can definitely see the execution there. And CW's online, 5-1. Both CW and Sans, actually.
But here's the problem for Indonesia. Even if they can really match out the team fight situation, look at Skies. He's still pushing right now. And no one can really stop him. Even if Indonesia wants to send their EXP laner to stop this macro play, Lutfi cannot match up to the macro presence of a Ling. And that's even before talking about the diversion play. So Malaysia will definitely have that as an advantage constantly. And this will be a bit of a deja vu situation to game 1. Indonesia are the ones that will be forced to go for a proper committed fight. But look at that, with a conceal already used by Malaysia, Indonesia has a chance here to make a surprise play.
Wait, how is Albert a level ahead of Skies? Lutfi, I'm offended, able to catch Yums right into the smash. Final slash brings them back, but Albert is able to pop in the quad shadow just in time. Lutfi will be taken down now. CW does some damage back. Albert in the back shadow kill, getting 2 kills on the board. That's both of the assassins picking up a double kills. Albert looks for more, but Stormy gets rid of him with a shutdown. And Team Malaysia wins it out. CW now with the Wesker trying to go for the assassination onto Gojas, but will decide to just dash backwards again. It's Team Malaysia with a big team fight win, and CW, I don't think he can contest this, not alone.
It was a cheeky play to go with the Wesker to try and get and execute. Deja vu to a couple of seasons back where that was a very common strategy. But Malaysia, with such a decisive win, they're gonna go straight for the Lord. Indonesia won't be there in time, man, but P-Boy is gonna force something. Okay.
Doesn't seem like they will. Diversion gets spotted. Keyboy pops into Power with Nature. And just like that, Malaysia decide not to take it. They got the Lord. There's no real reason for them to go for the fight right now. They can just play as slow as they can. It's a 1,000 goal lead that will definitely be building. They have Ling. They have Claude. They can scale.
That's unfortunate for Indonesia, man. They were in position first. They were the ones to try and make the play happen. But in that big fight, Gojas, that was a massive final slash that really kind of ruined the formation of Indonesia and resulted in everything just getting so chaotic. Albert was able to pick up a kill and was having some kind of presence in that fight, but unfortunately, it's just so much more limited compared to Skies right now, at least for now. Now, with all 3 waves just being managed by Malaysia, there's, like you said, Mirko, playing it slow. They know that there's no rush at all. They want to make sure that they get as much as possible. Maybe even a diversion here.
Looking towards the bottom side of the map, Yums is already hovering over, trying to get a big pick, maybe onto CW or Lutfi. They try to deal with this Lord. It seems that tier 2 will be given away. It's a bit too risky to defend all the way into tier 2 because Gojas also has ways to actually displace them with that final slash, but they will be able to deal with that Lord. Still with a mid tier 2 intact. Indonesia defending this time, but Malaysia finding crazy value with that Lord. Ooh. Oh, wild charge? Into the Bennett's Rage? No, they don't decide to go for it. Good flicker out from Yums to evade from that. The onward as well. Just to open up that bush again. And now in the mid lane, they're trying to go for the clear as well. But man, Malaysia, straight with the Primal Wrath. They know how to utilize their resources so well. Lutfi, I'm offended, gets knocked out by the Earth Shatter as well. No real engage now, as that's going to be Skies who jumps in onto Lutfi again. Dealing some damage, taking him to a quarter of his HP. And Albert, his purple buff is being threatened away. And that's the final slash to connect onto Albert. He's still able to get out with the quad shadows. Keyboy gets gunned down by the Blazing Duet, and Lutfi is able to survive, but it's a win for Skies. I think he took the purple buff away from Albert, but I'll have to look at Albert before I can really confirm.
You have to wait for the visual confirmation. You're seeing Wind of Nature's built in for, at this point, both the gold laners. But for Malaysia, man, I think the response whenever Indonesia makes a play has been just so phenomenal. Every single time there's been a big ultimate, a big catch attempt from Indonesia, Malaysia just has the right responses again and again. If you're looking at the damage dealt, Sans definitely is one of the main damage dealers. CW is more of a burst hero, but it is diversion play just to send Lolio to go for a clear. Is he gonna come back? Nope. Didn't set up for that play, but that's the macro play that Malaysia still has at their disposal. They've been doing all this without really relying on any crazy big diversion plays.
All right, dealing some damage, poking Yums down. That's a slow push built up by Malaysia up top, and Yums will be opening it up right into the Bennett, doing a lot of damage, taking his immortality down as Keyboy pops into Power of Nature, but Lutfi will be caught, has a flicker. Lolio goes in and now purifies, and when Nature's out, Finch poised into the back, dealing some damage, but look at Sans doing some damage as well, back onto him. Albert with the quad shadow. Albert gets the kill. CW, pops into Wind of Nature and is able to kite away. One more shot. Stormy gets it. Sans will be able to catch him though, and he pops the winner crown to get out with the diversion, but it's a 2-for-1 in favor of Indonesia.
That was mildly surprising. Wow. I thought Malaysia definitely had it in the bag with all the control, but Indonesia, they found a way with the targeting, with the crowd control to find the damage dealers from the side of Malaysia. And that was an absolute win. And even afterwards, directly going onto the Lord. Let's take a look at what exactly happened right there earlier. Wow.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to get to see the replay, unfortunately, but now it's how they are actually preparing for... Oh, there you go. Now it's the replay, Rashi.
No, it's still low. You just go in and do damage. And the same way he did, Skies also went in to go for it. But Albert, just taking advantage of the mobility that Hayabusa brings, goes in, and CW as well. It's almost like when Malaysia are responding, they have all the right responses for Indonesia. But right there, when they're the ones to initially go in for a massive dive, it's a whole different story. But Lutpi already taken out. Now Yums with the conceal.
Yeah, and a diversion into the back means that they can actually look for a flank. Yums are shattered. Oh, Yums gets a knock-up onto CW and Keyboy. And that's 3 on the board for Team Malaysia. But take a look at the Enhanced Lord that's just doing so much damage on the base, getting the base turn as well. Sans almost taking Lolio down, forced to go with the Battle Mirror image back again as Sans pops into Primal Rat, now walking up onto Yums. Albert walks up as well, has a Shadow Kill, decides to pop it in, and is able to get out of the skill 1 coming down from Gorgeous. And technically, Indonesia get a lot of value in terms of turrets. They get a base turret in the far lane, but in terms of kills, yeah, they lost that one.
What's in Indonesia and Lords, man? There's always some interesting Lord happenings whenever Indonesia is in the picture. All things considered, even though Malaysia had a great sequence there, a great catch, great team fight, they lost the base turret, and it's on the far side, away from the next Lord. That could prove to be fatal. Let's take a look at the items here, though. Sans, especially with the Blood Wings and the Lightning Truncheon, he has a lot of burst damage on top of the potential to go with the Primal Wrath. So now, especially if you're a backline or an assassin on the side of Malaysia, you gotta be a bit more careful because, you know, Sans will be waiting to try and do something just unpredictable.
All right. Once again, for Indonesia, it seems they're just trying to go and take this purple buff away. Sans dashes forward, but Skies will be able to retreat, securing it for himself as CW gets that blade of the Heptases. And now I really want to take a look at the items, right, for Indonesia and Malaysia in the 16th minute of the game. It's a very small gold lead, but at this point, what is a gold lead even, right? It's technically 50-50, but the structure, how is this going to play into the next Lord, Arashi? The fact that the base turret in the far lane was taken down by the Lord.
I think considering that Indonesia also have great engage tools to really start a fight off, it's going to be dangerous for Malaysia, but they're chasing Sans a bit too far there. You can see Indonesia setting up a trap potentially. They have control over the Lord already. And with that far side, just pushing constantly. Oh, Gorgeous.
Ooh. Oh, wow, good Vengeance. Actually use the Vengeance to get out away from the I'm Offended. Well played to Gorgeous, and that really just gave Malaysia, I would say, a breath of fresh air, right? They were if Gorgeous was picked off, that would have been maybe a free Enhanced Lord.
But now it's back to the waiting game, and with CW having the Sky Piercer, the Malefic as well, a lot of burst damage in his arsenal if they get too low, if Malaysia get too low from the Lord right here. So they need to be careful, and you can see that they're the ones who are forced to play around with the Lord right here, knowing that the bottom lane is shoving again and again. Guys with the Endless Battle will be having a bit more burst potential, but you can see Indonesia now are the ones playing it super patient, no real necessity, and Malaysia are even using these of diversion to certain scout for information there.
It does seem like that's the case, and the far lane, the bottom lane is still going to be there. Albert going to be chasing CC Skies! Able to win on the retreat battle. CW gets rid of Gorgeous, and now it's going to be Albert that's taken down by Skies. Well played! What a retry! He walks up and it's comboed together with the final slash of Gorgeous.
Man, that Gorgeous I think was the real MVP in that fight though. Landing that final slash on Albert, it was at such a critical moment with everyone just waiting to deny him that opportunity. But Malaysia has done it. They take the Lord away from Indonesia, and now they have, once again, the empowered waves to try and make these plays happen. They're up against a Valentina and a Beatrix though, so the wave clear for Indonesia is definitely something that they still have to try and prolong this game even longer. But We've seen how Malaysia plays, how Gorgeous and Yums have been so active. They can try and go for a fight and catch Indonesia off guard before they can even set up for a proper defense. We'll have to see how this goes.
Okay, they're actually trying to just put it away, but item-wise, Arashi, before the siege, how is it looking?
With the Divine Glaive, the Winter Crown as well, Stormy is all set up to try and make the most daring of plays all the way in the front line. And with Loliel just trying to finish up his final item right here, he might be able to get it by the time the Lord reaches the base of Indonesia. Okay, there you go. Immortal in his pocket as well. They're just gearing for a full-ditch effort, and they have the diversion into outside the map play if they want to go for it.
Let's see, man. The Diversion go just away, but he's all alone. Can't find the final slash. Goes in with the Vengeance and will be CC down with I'm Offended as well. And the Vengeance will not be enough to get him out of there. And it'll be Gorgeous taken out. And for Indonesia, they'll be able to defend this. That means that they can actually just get rid of the Lord as Malaysia disengage with the Conceal.
All in all, Malaysia equalizing on the base turret situation. But man, Gorgeous was left alone right there. And Keyboy gets out with the wild charge for now. But that won't be up for a while. So now Malaysia can once again control the vision, the information. And now there's no longer a way for Indonesia to match it.
Oh, there was an onward by Malaysia earlier, and now we're going to take a look at the replay, but I really wonder what's going on in the team fight right now, and it looks like Skies is going to be able to jump into the back. Lutpi going to be taken down. Skies again with a double kill as he finds all the blades. A diversion to the back will mean that Stormy will try to look for an angle. Skies hovering over. That's 2 for 1, but the 1 was already earlier. Shadow kill on the Stormy, but it's onto the minions as well. Gorgeous buys the immortality, and for Stormy, he was able to swap in wave.
When you thought you were gonna see a bit of a replay, but no, Malaysia says, hang on, there's more. Finally here, we take a look at a bit of a replay. Lutpi there just getting jumped on. And unfortunately for Indonesia, they were trying to go for a proper fight right there, but in the back line, man, the fact that there's so many immunity tools for Malaysia, once again, is something that they are absolutely abusing.
For sure, and now that base turret almost gets taken down by the cannon minion. Lutpi and Sans will be respawning back in the Atlanta Dawn, but I don't know if it's going to be in time here. It seems from Malaysia, they're just going to go for the burst straight onto the Lord. And CW, will he try to go for the Renner Apathy Steal? Doesn't seem like they'll be able to. Skies gets it again. That's a retreat battle win as Indonesia look to go for a team fight, but Malaysia are just way too clean. They get the Lord, they back away, and now in the 21st minute, this might be the final Lord of the game.
Possibly the beginning of the end right here for Indonesia, as the Malaysians with a full inventory slot on almost everyone. Even the Queen's Wings in the hands of Yums, he is geared for an all-out fight to decide this once and for all. Diversion.
Oh, 3 members are going to take it. Sans will be able to read it. Does some damage onto Lolilo, but so far only 1 wave is pushing down. CW has the Bennett. Gorgeous is looking to displace them, and Lutpi is bringing the Lord all the way up top as Albert deals with the wave up top as well. Now another wave in the bottom lane coming down as Lutpi is going to be taken very low. I'm offended for the final splash. Catches all of them with a blazing duet. They'll be able to dish out some damage. Demir's passion used up as well as Albert now goes in, but the base is wide open, and they're just going to go for it straight up. Malaysia clean sweep Indonesia 2-0.
Malaysia, what was that? Indonesia taken out without any chance of retaliation, showing again why they've been feared by so many other teams, man. Malaysia announcing to the world, like, we are an absolute contender and you will pay if you don't take us seriously. Wow.
Man, Skies on the Ling as well. The fact that he was able to perform at that level, right? The way that he was assassinating people, but especially the retribution, Arashi, from Skies. What a phenomenal game. What a phenomenal performance for Team Malaysia. And this is what the hype is all about, Arashi. We've been hearing back and forth all throughout the MLBB world that for this team in particular, man, they've been monsters in scrims. And for the most part, most people have doubted them. Have been saying, you know, it's just in scrims. They're probably not as good on stage. They're probably not as good in the main tournament. But here, they definitely showed, at least against Indonesia, that they are able to clean sweep Indonesia, taking it quite convincingly. We'll take a look at the highlights here, Arashi.
You can see that even from the beginning, Yums, again, it might be the experience, it might just be his style, but he's always finding ways to sneak into the jungle and always be a thorn in the side of Indonesia's team right here. always active again and again, and that is part of why they've been able to contest so much ground, get so much control around the map. And afterwards, whenever Indonesia again makes a play, the response from Malaysia has always been so good in this game. They have the AoE, they have the damage, and like you mentioned, for Skies, it's not just the retribution, it's the aggression he's able to use, is how he's able to maneuver around the map. The decisions in the split seconds of these fights are always so good. And that's something we usually talk about for Indonesia. That's usually a lot more scrappy, a lot more fight heavy in a more calculated fashion. But Malaysia has shown that now that's something you can say absolutely for Malaysia as well.
So clean all throughout the game, and I think here as well. I think Skies, right? All the way from the early game, the fact that he was able to get the kill onto Albert and then constantly do that. Albert was having a real tough game this whole game, all the way from the start even to the mid game, and we did see for a bit he was able to kind of recover, but it wasn't really enough to take the momentum away from Skies. And I think it was a certain point in the game where I actually mentioned that it's interesting to see Albert being 1 and 5 but still ahead in levels compared to Skies, but in gold it was still definitely Skies. We get to see a beautiful Renner's Apathy there onto Stormy, by the way. And let's take a look at the team fight, because this is, I think, the only team fight, or one of the only team fights that Indonesia won.
Well, it began with everyone kind of circling around, just waiting for, finding a way to really get into the backlines of Indonesia particularly. But by doing that, they kind of made Stormy kind of stuck out in a weird situation. And here, man, Gojas against every single time he gets caught, even when he's kind of just picked off, it seems like it's always something more, you know, you're always kind of worried about the next follow-up. And you can see it here again. His final slashes in this game have been absolutely critical for Malaysia to really have that edge in these fights. And as a result of that, Indonesia are forced to kind of use a lot of their resources, not for outplays, not to try and do anything extra, but just to try to kind of equalize and recover from the initial displacement or the initial shock of the crowd control. And you can see afterwards, Malaysia thought that, okay, we're winning so much, you have to try and capitalize on the momentum. But you can see that when they're using so much to try and go forward, it's almost like Indonesia are the ones that are in Malaysia's shoes in the team fights that are going like this, because the backliners, especially Stormy, can't really follow up as well. So you have to remember, when these assassins dive in like that, the whole team doesn't automatically follow through with them.
It's all about the positioning as well, right? Because we were talking about how, you know, they got the lore, they got the enhanced lore at that point of the game, and it looked like that was going to be the momentum that they would utilize to at least make the game go even further or take some advantages. And they were able to do so technically with the far lane, but all right, let's give some props over to Gojas though for this wonderful setup for Skies to just come in and retry, right? Because you're right, I think you definitely got to give more of a highlight to Gojas in that particular fight, because if it wasn't for the final slash, it would have been more 50-50. Maybe Albert would have been able to win that out. But because Gojas went in, sacrificed himself almost technically there, and got Skies so much more room to go for the clean retry, it was so good. And here, dude, the fact that Yums, he didn't decide to go back. He decided to flicker forward. This guy has been so good for SRG, and now he continues to be good for Team Malaysia. It's so awkward the way that he plays the game, right? Like, most people would actually flicker backwards or maybe would disengage after getting that low, but he decides, no, I'm going to create a line for my backline to deal damage properly, and that was what kind of got them the win there. I think at that point as well, Indonesia kind of had a few resources ready to go for a fight, and if they all dove in towards the backline, it would have changed something. But player of the match here, Rashi.
Well, player of the match is going to be Stormy here, 4-2 and 12. And he was making the macro plays with the diversion, but even in the team fights, his positioning, knowing that there are assassins around, knowing that he's a vulnerable target, he's always been a lot more bold in his positioning. But looking at how Yums was playing, like you were mentioning, Mirko, I think it's part of why he was able to do that, part of why he even dared to do that, is the fact that there's great communication and trust in this team. He knows that if he walks up and he gets jumped on, it will come at a price to Team Indonesia, and his team will absolutely capitalize. And that is what I think they've been using, right? If whenever they kind of give something up, they know that it's fine, because I know that my team will try and get something in turn. And that just leads to such clean, such calculated gameplay. And unless something really unexpected happens, they just seem so stoic, man. They don't seem flustered at all.
They really do, man. And again, for Stormy, what a phenomenal performance here by him. Well played, but really for every single member on Team Malaysia, I think everyone really played well, right? We can't really just say that it was just Stormy. He was player of the match. He did, create some diversions to actually